Good evening. We'd like to start the city council meeting for Tuesday, September the 25th, 2018 at 6 p.m. Well, this is called to order. We're going to have invocation and then we'll have the flag salute. Would you please stand?
Father God, once again, we humbly bow before your throne, thanking you for everything you do for this community and for the residents here. And a lot of it comes through this council and through the management of this city, through our city manager and all the department heads and all the employees. Father, it's a blessing to be able to give back to the community what you give us so abundantly. And we thank you that you've given us this opportunity to have sources like this now, Father, that we are fluent and fluid in our monies, and we're able to give to programs and projects here, and it's just a beautiful thing to see. Father, tonight I just ask a special blessing on this council and on the ones here and the ones not here, and Father, just on everybody here in this chambers right now. And be with us, Father. Just keep your watch care over us and your loving arms around us, and we praise your holy, precious name. Amen.
Lucy, when you
Absolutely. Please place your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're going to have a little video presentation. Oh, roll call.
Director Bach?
Here.
Director Mahar is running a little late. Councilmember Director Tremble?
Here.
Councilmember Director Bruce has to be excused. Councilmember Director Maravilla?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Vice Chair Member Rios?
Present.
Mayor Chair Member Rodriguez?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Like I said, we have a video presentation of our recent events. Bashir.
Tell me your name and what you do for the city.
I am Samantha Barajas, and I'm a lifeguard here at Leeward Pool.
That's awesome. So tell me about today's event.
It kind of brings the community together, and they all cheer for each other, which is wonderful. Plus, we also allow parents, guardians, and any other teens who want to compete, who haven't competed in a while, they can do it, and they compete against us lifeguards and junior guards.
I'm Zuriel, and I'm 10 years old.
Oh, that's such a pretty name. So tell me what event you did today.
I did a butterfly, breast, and free.
And tell me what prize you got today.
I got a big water gun
And how'd you win your water gun?
by getting a seahorse in the deep side.
I'm Angel and I'm 10 years old.
That's great, Angel. So tell me about the program you're involved in the city.
I'm in the Hawaiian Garden Shark swim team.
That's great. What event do you do on the swim team?
I do freestyle, breaststroke, and butterfly.
What is your favorite part of the Water Olympics?
It's enjoying seeing the kids swimming, and as you know, we won championships. The Sharks won some championships this year, and it's a pleasure to see our program here being used, and our staff who are guiding our kids. We want to thank them.
So I wanted to just thank you from the city, just having this amazing pool, supporting this program, because especially in summer and this heat, most of our residents do not have a pool. So I'm really happy that we're able to come and enjoy this pool.
And it's a safety issue also, because these kids learn how to swim, and so they can go anywhere and not worry about drowning or anything, because they're good swimmers, as you know. And our kids here are super now. This generation is coming up. They're so intelligent and athletic, and it's a new Hawaiian Gardens here. I kind of want to jump in there right now, but.
What do you do it?
And the princess too.
Now I'm going to go home refreshed. So thank everybody. And thank the staff and everybody for this wonderful program that we have here.
Hi, my name is Sandy Castillo, and I'm representing Cal South. Today we are here at Hawaiian Gardens with the annual Top Soccer Fest. As you can tell, our kids are having a great time. It's a way to make sure that everyone is included in soccer, and soccer is such a great sport to do it because we can modify it to fit the needs of all of our athletes. We have athletes in wheelchairs, we have athletes that are mobile, and they're different ages. That's what's great about this event. And Hawaiian Gardens has done a wonderful job of putting this together.
This is a very important event. I was here last year and the year before, and it looks like it's getting a little bigger. We have more kids available. It's very beneficial for the learning with learning disability kids, and we have some here in the city of Hawaiian Gardens. So this is home for some of these kids, and then there's some kids that come from other cities. Jesus Mendoza arranges this every year, and the kids have a lot of fun here.
One of the things that every event requires is buddies, and those are helpers. Those are the ones that help our players fully participate in the sport.
Hi, my name is Angel.
Hi, Angel. So tell me how you feel about being here today.
You know, it's great being out here, being with everybody, getting to know people, because I don't know most of the people here. It's always great to be outside and getting involved. So,
my name is Juan.
Oh, hey, Juan. So tell me how you feel about being here today.
I feel excited to try new things and just be out here getting some fresh air. I feel excited to be part of soccer, and that's my favorite sport.
I think this is the 4th or 5th year that the City of Hawaiian Gardens has hosted this, and every year we have more and more participants, so we have more and more smiling faces, and I just love being out here, seeing the kids have fun and the volunteers having fun. And the families, if you look at all of them, they all have their smiles on their faces, so you can't beat it.
Having fun!
Good morning, and welcome to the City of Hawaiian Gardens 2018 State of the City. I am very excited to be here and to be able to share the state of our powerful little city with our community and community partners.
Now place your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
We thank you for your protection over this city, God. In spite of everything that we've been through, we are keenly aware that if it was not for your grace and for your mercy, Lord, we would not be here today celebrating how you've blessed our city.
Oh, city, can you see by the dawn's early light?
I love the theme of the superheroes. And in my opinion, the superheroes for us in ABC has been simply the City of Hawaiian Gardens. The district, during the 2017-18 year, ABC Unified School District has received so many awards, and they include the California Exemplary School District Award in Los Angeles County.
Our department's core values are integrity, teamwork, caring, courage, commitment, and community. The Los Angeles County Fire Department, specifically Fire Station 34, takes pride in executing this mission. Over the years, we have fostered trusting relationships with the city's elected officials, administrative staff, and residents.
This group is just such a group of dedicated professionals. They have a genuine concern for quality of life issues and what occurs in the city. And they just do an outstanding job establishing relationships, and I think that's what's important. It's the relationships with the community, relationships with the businesses, relationships with the city. And it's those relationships and that how they work in a collaborative effort for public safety that really makes it work.
I want to put today's event into perspective with a quote by Ms. Maya Angelou. I think a hero is any person really intent on making this a better place for all people. Given this statement, I want to recognize our most important heroes joining us today. I want to recognize our residents that are in the room. And so please give yourself a round of applause, as you are the key. I want to please recognize the Robins to my Batman, the Supermen and Superwomen that work with me and put up with my sometimes Lex Luthor behavior. So if I can have the city staff, please stand and be recognized. There you go. But I'd like to have the mayor and Councilmember Barry stand. So in less than 2 months, these gentlemen are going to retire from their service to the city. And I want to extend my personal gratitude, and I also think that a lot of the progress the city has made would have never happened without these two gentlemen. And so I want to recognize them, and I'd like you to join me in recognizing them.
Thank you, Bashir. So now we have a presentation by Helpline Youth Counseling on the Merchant Committed Prevention Program to Reduce Underage Drinking and Substance Abuse by Steve Maua.
Checking. All right. Evening, Mayor Rodriguez, City Council members. Pleasure to be here tonight and join you guys. This is our first City Council meeting, so we're excited to be here. I'm Steve. This is
Henry Rios.
Christine, too.
Yeah. And we wanted to just share a program that we have just recently started in the city of Hawaiian Gardens, working closely with Linda Suniga. And it's the Merchant Committed Program. It's a program that allows us to work closely with the alcohol retailers, mainly off sale, so meaning your liquor stores, any place where you buy the alcohol and you would consume it off site. So we are working with, I believe we've identified 7 stores here in Hawaiian Gardens, and we've already gone out and visited them. And what we do is we really try to establish a relationship with them. And what we try to do is ultimately reduce access to alcohol for the youth. And like up here, we're Helpline Youth Counseling. Our office is in actually Whittier, but we're a satellite office. And we're actually located in a bungalow right behind Fetty right here. So we're right in the city. And this year, like I said, is our first year doing services in your city here. So we're really excited about that. And this is just a little bit about what Helpline is and what we do as an agency, but we're the prevention program. So we'll go into more details on what that is, and Christine and Henry will share some of their experiences they've already had with some of the alcohol retailers here. So like I said, Merchant Committed is a collective community effort, so meaning us, the city council members, law enforcement, the retailers, community members, and then we come alongside. And what we're really trying to do is just reduce access to alcohol to minors, and also sales of intoxicated patrons, and just reducing those types of issues. You guys want to go ahead?
Yeah.
This is where they've been out and about.
Yeah, so me and Christina, we pretty much do everything out in the field ourselves. So a little bit about what we do. Just an example of B&R Liquor. Let me just show you real quick. So this is Hayo. She's over at B&R Liquor. She's a superhero. She's been there for about 25 plus years. She has, if you guys ever have a chance to stop by and talk to her, she has so many stories to tell you. She's been through a late husband already. She's actually the only worker at that liquor store herself. She works over, I think she said over 50 hours a week by herself. She says she still has another 2 years left before she retires, so then she'll just sleep all the rest of that time. So a little bit about like what we do is we provide like some signage, as you can see here, some no EBT cards or no EBT business hours. That little red sign, you can't really see it that well. It's it says it's a criminal offense to provide alcohol to minors. So anything like that she might not be able to have access to, we can provide that as well. And we also, of course, we do a bunch of door-to-door stuff, see what they need. We hear their plights. Like Hayo's been, she used to be, I don't know if the picture's on there. She was like robbed about 30 times within the past 4 or 5 years. So just hearing what she needs and just pretty much what she really can't tell anyone else. If she needs a voice, we're there to share it with you guys, anyone else that might need to know her story as well.
So we do build our relationship with our alcohol retailers. Oh, sorry. So we do build our relationship with our alcohol retailers by going to each of their stores and doing something that we call the merchant assessments. And some of these assessments basically have questions on their store layout, if they have any of the stickers such as the WeID under 35 stickers, where their beer shelves are at, where their alcohol is located, if there's any advertisements, if it's targeting towards youth. And then also we do have something that we call the Responsible Beverage Service Training every month, and it's located in Norwalk. And we provide outreach to our alcohol retailers by distributing these flyers to have them come to our RBS trainings. So basically, this is the star levels of our merchant committed, and we basically provide our merchants these stickers that are signed by the mayor. And for them to receive 1 star, the employees basically have to be responsible beverage service trained, and then for them to earn 2 stars, they have to have all of their employees trained, including their employer, have any of the advertisements targeting youth to be moved more towards the floor, or ensure that there's about 33% of signage outside of their store. And then for them to earn a 3 stars, they have to remove all the advertisements from their store and put up any of the merchant committed signs that we provide for our alcohol retailers.
Yeah, so I just recently attended it was Assembly Bill 1221. It was put on by Alcohol Beverage Control, ABC. And this is more of an off-sale bill that they're working on, but they're kind of mandating our restaurants, any restaurant or any place where you purchase alcohol and consume on site, to have their staff RBS trained every 2 years, new staff be trained. This is really good precedent because hopefully we can translate this on over to our liquor stores too. If we can get it with the restaurants, then hopefully we can get it on over to the liquor stores too. But this is happening. It was, I believe, passed in 2017, and by 2021 they really want to get this the AB 1221 in, where servers will be RBS trained. RBS training is responsible beverage service training, so these people understand how to check ID, how to count drinks, and just observe patrons, and just prevent patrons from being too intoxicated at restaurants or at bars, wherever they're consuming alcohol. And like we were saying, this is really what we kind of really want for our program too. But like I said, we're more off sale, and this bill really targets more on sale. But we're hoping we get there with our program here soon too, is get all our alcohol retailers and wine gardens RBS trained, so they can learn how to check ID, not sell to minors, understand the laws, understand how to protect their business, understand what they're responsible for, because a lot of them aren't even aware that they're responsible for the property that's adjacent, alleys, parking lots. They just believe, oh, the only thing I got to take care of is my store, and that's not true. So we try to educate them on that, and ultimately we really try to help them ultimately stay in business. It's important to the city, it's important to them, and then it's important that they abide by the laws and their stores look a certain way that really helps the city kind of have that appeal too. And that's kind of what the merchant program does, and that's what we try to do, is just try to get them to a certain standard.
So we also do something called the pseudo decoy operation. It's similar to the sting operation that law enforcement does, except we use volunteers who are 21 and older. And these 21-year-old and older volunteers, they have to look a little youthful as if they're underage. And we send them to these stores with a $1 gift card and to have them pretend to purchase alcohol. So when they go in there to purchase alcohol, they slide the card, and if the alcohol retailer asks them, like if you have an ID, they'll be like, oh no, like I forgot at home, and we have to see if these alcohol retailers will sell them to them or not. So it's basically to see if if our retailers are following the protocol. And we conduct this about 2 to 3 times a year to ensure that they are following the law.
And so one thing that we're trying to do is we're trying to create an underage drinking data sheet, because we've seen one that was back in 2007 where we don't have any information about underage consumption in the city of Hawaiian Gardens, anything of that manner of how prevalent the problem is here in the city. So we are going to conduct probably some door-to-door things, maybe around schools, middle schools, high schools, anything around the area, just to see what it looks like and what the projection is based on underage drinking, and see if it's actually a prevalent problem here, and where we can actually put our efforts towards as well. That's pretty much it.
Yes. So this project that Henry's talking about, it's really to just create local data in Hawaiian Gardens, because I know we can share national, state data with you guys, but a lot of the data that we ultimately care about is the local data, like what's going on in our city, what's going on with our kids, right? And where is it happening, what time, which locations. That way we can help deal with it if it is an issue. I mean, we may find out after doing some surveys and stuff that it's really not an issue, and maybe it's more another substance, cannabis, maybe it's tobacco, we don't know. But that is a project that we've seen that there's not too much local data, and it's something that we do want to share with you guys, that for a future project we want to do something like this. So getting you guys on board and sharing it with you guys up front is just something that we kind of wanted to do. But that's our Merchant Committed program. Ultimately, it's really to reduce youth access, to increase commerce, and also to present stores in a way that would make your city proud, and have people come in here and shop and stay and eat and bring money to the city also, right? It's not always, it is about the community too, but we also are pro-business and pro-commerce also. So do you guys have any questions for us?
I was just going to welcome you. I've been familiar with your program for a long time. I know you are mostly doing counseling. Are you still doing that?
Yeah, so this is the prevention program, but yeah, we do offer, if you are interested, we do a lot of family therapy, individual therapy, mental health, there's intervention, there's substance abuse. We don't do in-house, so there's no residency type thing. And there's Parent Project. We offer a wide variety of, counseling services to families and individuals from all ages, from child to adult.
And where are you based?
We're based behind FETI, but our main office is in unincorporated Whittier, right by the Sheriff Star Center. I don't know if you guys know where that is, but we're neighbors with them. So brand new state building. It's a couple years old.
Well, welcome. I'm sure the job that you're doing is saving lives, because that's a very, very dangerous thing to do, particularly with kids that don't really know the repercussions and the eventual effects of what taking a light decision will have repercussions for later. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'd like to ask whether or not you guys are already connected with our city manager's office. I know we're looking to develop our Chamber of Commerce here in Hawaiian Gardens to target the businesses and assist them. I think that'd be a great collaboration, not only to discuss this with them, but possibly, like you said, like the data sheet. So I think that'd be great if you guys could get in contact. And
we've been in conversation with Linda about that and how you guys are trying to get the Chamber of Commerce going. And we actually have a partnership. And we do this program also in Norwalk, and we do work with Chamber of Commerce actually very closely. So it's actually
I look forward to that collaboration.
It's a very natural relationship. So
Correct.
we're really excited for that. And when that gets going, hopefully we can be part of it and join our efforts and creating safer communities here.
Thank you. I appreciate your presentation.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Good. How are you, sir?
I'm well. And how long have you been in the neighborhood?
So we've been doing the prevention program for about 6 years. We've been at
In Hawaiian Gardens?
No,
Yeah,
we've been in
speaking
Hawaiian
about
Gardens, I
Hawaiian
think, for the
Gardens.
last probably 4 years. But
In Hawaiian Gardens?
Yes, in the back of the bungalows. That's just the space that we share. But contractually, we've always been linked to Norwalk and Cerritos only. But meeting with Linda in the last fiscal year, we were really talking about getting involved in the city because we're here anyways. And a lot of things have changed at the Department of Public Health, where we could add certain cities if we wanted to. So after talking with Linda and just seeing how great that relationship was starting out, we decided to write Hawaiian Gardens into our work plan for this fiscal year. So yes, our first year servicing you guys, but we've been in the city for about 3-4 years.
So you've been here 4 years, and you've worked in this city for 1 year.
Just starting, not even a year yet.
Not
like
even a
3
year.
months.
A few months.
3 months, yes.
Working with our liquor stores.
Yes, visiting them, trying to create relationships, and then also working closely with Linda.
Okay.
here and
Well,
there.
before you do your sting operation, trying to sell a 21-year-old acting like he's underage.
Yeah.
Do you do training prior to that? Do you give a full training class to the business owner and then tell them we do little sting operations? So you don't know if it's us or if it's a young kid. So we encourage you to stay legal.
Yeah,
Do
I mean,
you
so-
do that? Because I know with our employees, we got to give them training. We
Yeah.
got to, because if they do anything and we didn't train them, then it don't count.
Yeah, so the thing with that is,
do you train them and let them know?
No, we don't, because our relationship is kind of like treading a fine line, right? So we really are relationally more like their partner in trying to get them to do store layout changes, right? Do beautification projects, right? So to maintain that relationship, we can't really jump the fence and be on the penal side too, where we're like, hey, you're doing these things wrong. So we walk a really fine line. The data that we collect is actually more for just us collecting data for us to know which stores are complying and which stores are not complying. We're not law enforcement. We never will be, and we don't ever have that kind of clout anyways, right?
Yeah.
So what we can do is we can share that information with public safety or sheriff, and hopefully they can kind of be that piece for us. But as a counseling agency and as working as closely with the stores, we don't really kind of want to scare them with that little piece.
Yeah, because I just don't want to reinvent the wheel. I don't want to see you guys trying to do law enforcement's job undercover. I don't want to see you trying to beautify something because we have a beautification program.
Yeah.
I love stopping youth from drinking because it stunts their life.
Yeah.
It ruins it
Mhm.
at a young age. So I love your program. You've been here 4 years, worked with us 3 months, and this is the first I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Council
But,
usually hears about it the last,
I know.
All
But
right.
you know what? We
Well,
just
I'm
been here
looking
for
forward
3
to working
months.
with you guys.
Yeah.
I'd love to give input. I'd love to hear your
Yeah.
whole program.
No, we were really excited to be here because, like I said, we just started the fiscal year. So getting into the city council meeting was definitely a top priority of ours. And at the beginning of the summer, there was just some vacations, so we missed the first couple ones. But we're super excited to work with each one of you guys together individually. Share your ideas because you guys are clearly the experts in the city, and we're kind of the new kids on the block. And we really just want to absorb, obviously, your wisdom, your knowledge, your experience in the city, and then hopefully apply some of our ideas. We do presentations too, where we'll go to parents, teachers, and we'll do not just alcohol, but ALMA, which is the cannabis, Prop 64, right? We have a presentation on that, educating adults on what you can and can't do with cannabis, and then we also have a prescription PowerPoint also. So really, like what she was saying is we're really just trying to educate people because really at the end of the day, if you give them the best information, you just hope they make good decisions, and that's really, we understand that too. We can't make people change, and we're not going to, we know we can't do that. So we try to give the best, most current information, and hopefully people will see it as helpful and make good, healthy decisions.
Have you found cannabis shops here?
No, there's none that we know of.
Exactly.
Yeah. Most cities, surprisingly, on this side, SPA 7 side, and they still have the moratoriums up. It's more East Los Angeles, LA County, City LA, where you do see them.
And one last question: who funds you?
We are funded by Department of Public Health, so we're state funded.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, absolutely. Good questions.
Well, before you conclude, I can't let your presentation end without acknowledging Mr. Henry Rios. No relation, but he is a Rios. I rarely see Rios, so just.
Hey, we have a Rios at Norwalk City Council too.
No, I know her. I know her.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. We do have business cards that we can leave behind for each one of you guys if you guys would like, for emails, just to call us, or we can go back and forth. And like I said, we're really excited to work because this is a much smaller city, so it's such a different feel, and in a good way too. So we're really excited.
Okay. Thank you, Steve, Christine, and Henry.
Thank you.
For your
Good
presentation.
evening.
We have another presentation regarding National Voters Registration Day by our Assistant Clerk, Lucy Colombo.
Of the City Council. Today is National Voter Registration Day, and I just wanted to give everybody a reminder that please register to vote. You can register if you're a U.S. citizen, 18 years or older, and it's important to know that you can re-register if you've recently moved, if you've legally changed your name, or if you haven't voted in the last few elections, you may be considered inactive or dropped from the rosters, so please make sure you re-register. 16 and 17-year-olds, good news, we can pre-register you as well. You fill out the same voter application if you meet all the requirements, and when you turn 18, you're automatically registered to vote. If you're not sure if you're registered, please go online, visit levote.net, and check to see if you are registered. You can also find your polling place locations. You can review your voting guide. And then how and where to register, you can go online to any of these different websites or visit the city's website, and there is a link on our election site that you can register electronically. You can also still do it in person or by mail with your applications. You can also look for us at voter registration booths at our community events. Please remember the last day to vote is October 22nd, so that's going to be coming up soon. We're happy to help you with any questions and register you to vote. So please always vote on election days, and the municipal election is November 6th. That concludes my presentation.
He's not even noticing.
That was a great presentation, Lucy.
I
enjoyed the music.
Any questions for Lucy? None?
Well, it is National Voter Registration Day, so I appreciate you bringing this to the attention of the public. It's important for everyone who has the right to vote to exercise their right to vote. And just so everyone is aware, youth ages 18 through 29 are the least likely to vote, and a lot of them, the vast majority, are not even registered. So make your vote count. I know we have a very young city in Hawaiian Gardens where our median population is below 32. So it's really important for everyone to get out and vote and register. And you can do it online now, registertovote.ca.gov. So thank you, Lucy.
You're welcome. And we also have applications right outside council chamber, so stop by or grab some for somebody who is not currently registered or needs to re-register. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucy. Oral communications. This is the time reserved for members of the public wishing to speak on items on and not on the agenda, except for public hearing items. This period will be limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Maximum time allocated is 15 minutes. Upon conclusion of oral communications, the City Council, city staff, At the direction of the mayor, may respond to any questions or statements that were presented by members of the public. The city council is prohibited by law from discussing or taking any action on items presented during oral communications. They are not on the agenda.
Good evening, Mayor Rodriguez and City Council, City staff. It is I, your librarian, Carolyn, and I'm here to give you a whole slew of interesting information that you need to know about both voting and your library. We also have voting registration applications at the library, and we are open Saturday when your city is at rest. You can come and visit us. We can also help you sign up online in the library or check your registration with you. If you are not comfortable going online, we can give you a hand. We will be having the vote by mail drop box at our location October 9th through November 6th. If you have a vote by mail option, you can bring your sealed envelope and drop it with us. The boxes are picked up weekly by the LA County Registrar and Recorder's Office, and your vote is counted. So, happening at the library right now, we have our bookmark contest. And I know we have amazing athletes here in Hawaiian Gardens, but I'm going to bet we have amazing artists too. So if you have a young person in kindergarten through 12th grade, have them drop by the library and pick up a form so that they can design a bookmark for the contest Shine Bright Read. We need entries, and I bet if we get some good ones and they win, they'd let us come to City Council and honor them. Tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, we have an event called Fiesta in Mexico. It's a lively educational storytelling, dance, audience participation event with some costumes and dolls that are featuring the kinds of costumes for this event. Looking forward to that. As always, we have our dogs coming. They'll be with us next Wednesday, October 3rd. You can come and read to the dogs if you're a beginning reader all the way up through 3rd grade. And you know what? If you want to just come meet a really cool dog, you can come to the library too. Our special story time, Smarty Pants story time, sign-ups begin on Saturday, and we have, this will be Tuesdays from 1 to 1:30, and it's the focus of this is to get kindergarten ready. So if you have a young person who is not yet in preschool but is striving to learn, they can learn with us at story time. So we hope to see you. Now, if you have an even younger person who you just want to hang out with and play and learn together, you can join us on Thursday starting October 11th at 3:30, and we'll have a whole bunch of stuff out to explore. Toys and art activities and things that parents and very young children can do together. So we hope you'll sign up and come see us. In honor of that bookmark contest, just so parents and teens don't feel left out, we'll be creating a bookmark on the very last day. We're accepting applications for that bookmark contest. But this is an adult event, so this is for adults to come and create a beautiful bookmark, either as a keepsake or as a gift for someone. And our last announcement for tonight is that we have a very special program important for parents and youth ages 8 and up. It's called Get Safe. It's a bullying prevention and leadership workshop, and it is working on skills to prevent bullying. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. My voice is going. My name is Frances Rodriguez. I live on Britton Street. And today, as I was driving by on Norwalk Boulevard, I saw a gray vehicle with transient-looking people parked where the new teen center is going to be. So there is a no trespass sign there. It's still going on, so I tried calling the safety center, but nobody answered. Then I called here, and they gave me the number to an extension at the safety center, so I called that extension, and nobody answered. So then finally I called Sergeant Macy, and he called me back within an hour, and he said he was going to have somebody go down there. So I just want to let you know. Now, because of that issue, do you guys think you should fence it in? Because it seems like this is the second time this has happened that I've seen, just happened to be driving by. And I do think it'd be a good idea if you fenced it in and maybe put cameras out there. So, and another thing is I heard a rumor that a marijuana dispensary is coming to Hawaiian Gardens. No, it's not coming? Okay, it's just a rumor. I wanted to get it direct. Because I know
who is bringing it in?
Because I know it's in
We have a moratorium against it.
It's in the municipal code that they're not allowed. So I'm just telling you that.
Rumors in our city.
And another thing is that donation bin on Norwalk Boulevard by the donut shop. People are using that as a dumping ground now. I mean, I think there's 2 mattresses there right now, and there's some bags on the floor. So, and I've seen stuff across the street too. But I know when I tried to get rid of a sofa, I called the trash company, and they told me they only do it on Saturdays. So I had to have it out there on Saturday morning, and they came and picked it up. So I don't know if people don't realize that, but now everyone's dumping stuff in front of yards and stuff. I'm seeing a lot of that right now. So maybe they need to be educated. I don't know. But it does work because I used it. I did it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor Reynaldo Rodriguez, Mayor Pro Tem Mariana Rios, and council members. My name is Jesse Alvarado. I live on Ivex Avenue and 223rd. I just want to acknowledge Mr. Steve Gomez for the great job he's doing, and also the staff at doing on the recreation department. Every time I go to the city hall, the senior citizens are well taken care of. Everything's well organized. I go to the sports, and everything runs really smooth, and I see that there's a lot of work being done behind the scenes. So I just want to acknowledge them for doing a great job. I also want to let everyone know to make sure they vote November 6th. Remember, your vote is your voice. En español, su voto es su voz. Por favor, voten. Gracias. My nombre es Jesse Alvarado. Have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, City Council. Welcome to autumn. Just have a couple things tonight. Councilman Tremble, power outage. We had a lot of power outages throughout the city recently because the electric company is updating something. I don't know what. In my area, it was out 12 hours straight. I know you're involved with safety. You're very concerned with safety issues. This might be an excellent time to find people interested in checking flashlights, emergency supplies, backup plans, and things like that. I don't know if the electric company is going to be out doing that anymore, or if they're going to be coming back, or if there's other areas, but this might be an excellent opportunity. People are going to be sensitive to it since they've been without electric for 12 hours. Our area over on 226th Street is having trouble with the post office. This is an ongoing problem. We don't have a regular mail carrier. They give us whoever's got a short route that day. And I know all of you get mail and you get very familiar with your postal worker. They know where you are. They notice if somebody hasn't picked up their mail in a while. And in our area, we get mail anywhere from 10 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock at night, which I think they're supposed to stop working at 6. Issues we've had is we had a neighbor with class 3 prescriptions that she has to order by mail. They were left in the wrong box, and the post office said, well, because they scanned it and they said it was delivered, it wasn't their problem. And she had to actually literally go back to the doctor and get a new prescription for that. It could put her health at risk because that was important medications for her. We had an overnight package delivered to us. It was put in the wrong box. It had sensitive information. I'm on the condo board. And it had sensitive information about some of the homeowners. It was put in the wrong box. That particular person doesn't go to the mailbox except every 2 or 3 weeks, and he did bring it back. But when we called the post office and we said, you know, we're entitled to get compensated, we paid for overnight service and we didn't get it, they said, oh no, they scanned it, so they delivered it. So they said actually, and they did say, we don't have to deliver it to the right address, we just have to deliver it the next day. Yeah. So there have been a couple other things now. So there are some issues. I would appreciate if you could help me because I can't seem to get anyone to help with that. I would like to know what happened with the $5,000 for the sister city that was being talked about. I know I want to see them get it if we can do it, but I also want to make sure it gets to the right people and helps the right people. So if you guys have an update on that, I'd love to hear it. And I want to thank you for the State of the City event. I was able to attend. It was quality time with great neighbors and met some new neighbors. It was very well executed. The food was awesome, and it really reflected it was positive for our city. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody, council members and mayor. My name is Natalie Ibarra, and I'm here in representation of the swim team, the Hawaiian Gardens Sharks. I was able to see outside that there was good news for us, and that's why I'd like to continue in the meeting. But I want to thank you guys for your tremendous support. It has been a long time coming. I'm sure you guys have seen my face multiple times up here. In the last 6 years, we've brought up the swim team becoming a year-round program, and I am just thankful to God and thankful to you guys for making this dream come true. And it's something that's going to change the city. It's going to change each and every one of our swimmers. Hopefully the team will grow. These kids will grow up to go to Artesia High School. We're going to put a name for the high school as well. And I'd also like to take the time to thank Steve Gomez and also Linda Johnson, who represents the office of Janice Hahn, for the support. And I just can't thank you enough. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, council members, staff, and everyone present. My name is Yolanda Solorzano, and I'm here on behalf of a group of parents to follow up on our verbal petition presented on July 10th in reference to a volleyball team for young girls ages 13 to 18. We here kindly request to the council members and representatives the City of Hawaiian Gardens grant the opportunity of a volleyball team for young girls aged 13 to 18 with the support of Mizuno Volleyball Club, who we had the first experience of having our girls train and be part of a great club, which we saw the growth and enthusiasm in our daughters thanks to this club. This club offers the training at a reasonable cost because their focus is to give the opportunity to families of different income the chance to have their girls trained by professional trainers, whom at one point were trained by a club just like this one, and attended and played professional volleyball for UCLA, Arizona, Fresno, and Cal State Long Beach universities, just to mention a few. They are now part of this Mizuno Club and give back to the community. We're reaching out to you in hopes of the following. Have Hawaiian Gardens consider allowing a budget for volleyball to assist with some of the costs for this great sport that offers so much opportunities. Unfortunately, still at a reasonable cost that Mizuno Club offers for most parents or community would be at a hardship. Mizuno Club to be allowed to come to Hawaiian Gardens and use the gym at a reasonable cost for training. In the future, the main goal would be that Hawaiian Gardens have their own home-based team with knowledgeable and professional trainers. In return, our parents and our children, as a commitment to help and make this dream a reality, our daughters can take their knowledge and training skills to teach younger kids proper techniques and volunteer and contribute back to our Hawaiian Gardens community. Our commitment as parents, we can pass out flyers, hold a booth in future events at Hawaiian Gardens sponsors and you will allow us to promote volleyball and answer questions or concerns parents might have with the hopes that we ignite a new possibility through volleyball. We humbly request that the respected representatives strongly consider our petition and plan a budget for such a wonderful sport. Through this sport, Hawaiian Gardens becomes the stepping stone for so many young girls and make their dream a reality. Thank you for the opportunity, and may you get back to us with good news. Thank you.
Thank you.
Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council, good evening. My name is Patrick Mattson. I'm the HR manager for the city, or more recently known as the handsome fella at the end of Miss Colombo's earlier presentation on her PowerPoint slides. I just wanted to extend the invite for a couple of upcoming meetings, beginning with our first of 3 town hall meetings in October that will be addressing the issue of homelessness in our city. The first of which will be held on Tuesday, October 2nd at 6 p.m. at Hawaiian Elementary. There will be a special presentation on homeless encampments in our city and how they're being addressed. Also, on the following day, October 3rd, the Public Safety Department, in conjunction with the Sheriff's Department, will be hosting our night out in the park at Clarkdale Park beginning at 6 p.m. So I'd like to extend that invite out to our members of the community. Please come on down and get some great info and join in on the discussion about homelessness and safety in our neighborhoods, and we hope to see you there. Thank you very much.
Patrick, can you highlight the other meetings as well? I know we have them scheduled all through the month for the other locations for the homeless.
Yes, on Tuesday, October 16th at 6 p.m., we'll be having another town hall, our second of 3 at Fedi Academy. There will be a special presentation on families and children who are homeless. And then the third and final will be on Tuesday, October 30th at 6 p.m. at Ferguson Elementary. The presentation for that meeting will be on outreach and prevention programs for businesses and public places.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Seeing no one else, we'll close the oral communications. So now we can have the panel here, the council. If you have any questions or comments, now is the time.
I just had a comment for Ms. Solorzano. We have received a request. Oh, you're back there. We have received a request, and I know that this is something that I know I've been in discussions with the city manager prior to today's meeting. We've discussed this a couple of times, I think. But as you know, it's a process, scheduling meetings. Obviously, the use of our facilities, everything is very impacted. So it's going to take a little bit of time, but thank you for being patient, and hopefully we get back to you with good news soon. As you can tell, like the swim team, it took them 6 years to get a year-round schedule, and it just, again, timing, budgeting, all of that takes a lot of time. But thank you for your patience, and hopefully we can find a way to support the volleyball team.
I have quite a few comments. First of all, thank you to Ms. Frances Rodriguez. I know she's here. Thank you for being proactive and noticing that car, because I know many people just drive by and wouldn't do anything about it. We will be having cameras at the teen center, and obviously there will be a no parking zone, so to take care of our kids that are there. In regards to the bin and dumping, I did have a meeting with staff in regards to our trash company. Thank you for saying that they're picking up your stuff on time on Saturdays. But we agreed that Saturdays would be a better day for all pickups to happen. So if we can go ahead and let the community know to take out all their stuff on Saturday, obviously call the trash company to let them know, because I know we've been working to clean up our city and make it look nicer. So thank you so much for that. In regards to Jan, yes, I wish we had some more of those orange trees that we see during autumn in our city to tell us that the seasons are changing. I am concerned, though, in regards to your comment about the power outage, because I thought that all power had been returned to service at 8:30 in the morning. So I know that when we have that, it's a reality check, because I know my own house was affected by the power outage. And it's like, wait, where are the flashlights? How do you handle all this stuff that we're not used to, because you just simply turn on the lights? So we will definitely look into that. I know you directed it to Mr. Tremble, but I'm definitely interested in that. And in regards to the post office, that's a federal issue. So I would ask Mr. Hernandez if you could contact Congresswoman Sanchez. I know she's been great in assisting us to see if she can go ahead and contact the post office, and obviously I will assist you if needed. The Sharks, thank you to Ms. Ibarra. They have been they have been an investment. And anytime that I've been as a council member and we invest in our youth, the return is just amazing. I've seen that with our schools, and I've seen that with the Sharks when you first requested to have a 3-month early opening, and you came back with medals, and now you came back with first place. So thanks to you, because you are the one that is working with the kids, and they are just proving us right that our investment is well worth it in our kids and our city. Ms. Solorzano, thank you for being here. I didn't know that the volleyball team still had that issue. We were informed that there was a Long Beach club that was willing to take the kids and assist you, but that it was a little bit of expensive for you guys. So that's definitely an issue that I will be looking into. I hope you don't have to wait 6 years like the Sharks. It didn't take 6 years. It started 3 years ago that we started assisting the Sharks, and they've just, been pushing forward and just doing amazing work. And thank you, Patrick, for bringing up the homeless. Is that going to be showcased in the marquee, Mr. Hernandez?
So we will advertise in our normal media outlets. In addition, we've contacted our public affairs group to put out a substantial social media advertising on the meetings. They will be recorded and then televised at a later date also.
Awesome. And I know that the plan is in English and Spanish, and if any residents need additional information, because the goal has not changed, we want to hear from the community in regards to the plan that is there. Thank you.
I had a couple comments. For Yolanda with the volleyball team, see, I just don't like to reinvent the wheel. We have a volleyball team. Is that correct, Steve? In recreation, don't we have volleyball going? Because I used to drive a bus. I used to take volleyball teams to competitions.
That's correct. We do have a volleyball program in the fall, which is right now. We cater to grades 3 through 6. What we don't provide at this time is volleyball for the junior high age population.
I know, but we're a city. We should have something for every age in the city, in recreation. Like she's talking about professional trainers. Now, city, we can't have professional trainers teach our youth. It's against the SMAP rules. We can't pay coaches, although rumors are we do, but rumors are all over the place with homeless shelters and everything else. But professional paid coaches are prohibited in the city. Am I correct? Anyone knows the law on with our attorney?
I'm not aware of that issue.
I can certainly look into that. I don't know. I wasn't an athlete growing up, so I don't know these things, But
couldn't you tell from the bleachers?
If you want to know the rules on checkers, I can follow up on that. Really
yeah,
easy.
I know SMAP rules because we're all amateur. There's no paying or professional. A professional is a paid coach.
Right. So, and again, I'll have to follow up, but I know with the boxing program that is the case. So I don't know if it applies across the board, but I'll follow up.
Yeah, so there's a lot to go on the volleyball. I love to see the girls play. It's a beautiful sport. I just don't want to reinvent the wheel. We'll have to just more research on that. Francis, we've already got a plan in action to take away the drop-off clothes, shoes, and furniture and mattresses at that place by the donut shop. That's correct, Ernie? That's already in the process?
Correct. So we've actually approached the manager of that property to address the issue. We're going to look at putting an ordinance together before the city council to address donation boxes as a whole. They cannot be required to be removed, but you can set up guidelines. Is that correct, Mr. Attorney? Guidelines on what it must look like, and also we're trying to work in cooperation with the businesses to address it as a kind of work together before it becomes a code enforcement issue.
Yes, thank you. And concerning our future home of our team post, they're going to start construction, and protocol is usually to fence off a construction site so there won't be no liability on the city. So a fence should be going up shortly to prevent anyone driving up into that parking lot and homesteading. Natalie from the Sharks, I'm glad you recognized Janice Hahn and Linda Johnson, who are going to fund it partially. In a good way. So, we always call them friends to the little city. So they do a great job for us, so congratulations. Jan Lapointe, I never was aware you were out for 12 hours. I know senior complexes, they have generators, but you're a private So generally, probably not involved. Yes. Well, I love preparing the city for national disasters with batteries and flashlights and food and all this stuff. And I presented it to the city staff 3 years ago, but I guess it's still in the planning stages. But it's going to happen. We have to prepare for it. So hopefully this lights a fire under us and we'll start doing programs, which I already know key people that would run the program. And there are local fire department who spoke with us for like 3 years at different locations, police departments, pharmacists who show you how to control your medication. It's a beautiful program. We just got to implement it and have it work in the city. And that includes power packs and everything else that you'll need for power outages. So I'll talk with the city manager and see what we could do on that.
Well, I mean, why don't we just agendize it for the next meeting and have a full presentation from our city in terms of how we are emergency prepared?
You know what? I know for a fact that our system is outdated. So we have to work on that and get it updated.
There is no system in place.
Yes, sir. Okay. And that's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Myra, anything?
Yeah, I already gave my comments. Thank you.
So everybody's done their comments. Either yours too. Yes, on the sister city issue, I've been trying to work with the people down in San Pedro, and right now it's pretty difficult. Of course, they just changed presidentes over there, and they had the elections. And I've been trying to work with 3 individuals, which is very difficult. And I'm still trying, but at the same time, I'm not prepared just to send the money and let somebody over there handle it. We want to have full control here because it seems like it's like any other government, whether here in the United States or Mexico or Europe or whatever it is. There's a lot of mistrust between a lot of the people in there in the government. So that's what I'm going through right now. I'm trying to get the person or the persons who are going to be able to do the job over there. So that's in the works. As far as the power outage, I don't know what's happening. I know they're down the street from me. I heard a transformer blow out. Of course, power went out. But I was ready. Back a couple of years ago when El Nino was supposed to show up, which never did, I went and bought me a generator, a 7,000 watt generator.
If your power goes out, go to Ray's.
But so as soon as that power went out, boy, I went outside and got it ready, started it. I hooked up my refrigerators, my TVs on it. And as soon as I sat down to watch TV, boom, the power went up. So now I had to go back and take care of all the cables and put everything away. So anyway, so I don't know. There seems to be problems with the transformers blowing up. This is about the second or third one that I know that has happened to.
This was scheduled.
Yeah. The one, it was scheduled for all night, right? Yeah.
No, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I don't know what's going to happen in the future with those power outages. So if there's any no more comments or questions, we'll proceed to the agenda organization. Oh yes, we supposed to have our trustee, our ABC School Board trustee, City Hawaiian Gardens, Chris Apodaca, to give us a presentation on what's going on with the school district. But right now they're in a board meeting concerning the bond. Coming up bond is going to be on the ballot. So that's where they're at now, so that he couldn't make it. So now we will go into the agenda organization, and this is the time for the city council members to discuss any changes in the order of the agenda. And I guess we're going to go from here, we're going to go to the public housing. Okay. And I got so much stuff here. Let me borrow your public housing. I lost it. Item A, public hearings, none. Consent calendar. Items listed on the consent calendar are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion and one vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If the discussion is desired, that item may be removed from the consent calendar and will be considered separately. Do we have any members that want to have any discussions on this, or do you want to accept this?
Is this just for consent calendar or
Yes.
also discussion?
No, it's only consent.
Consent
So we would
calendar.
just,
Only
if there's
consent.
anything to pull on the consent.
So,
So I'll make a motion to approve the reminder of the consent calendar in its entirety.
motion,
I vote.
do we, okay. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
We move to discussion.
We have to wait on this.
Discussion items, C1, a request from Director Bach to discuss the beautification guideline. Report.
Good evening, Honorable Chairperson and members of the board. Public Housing Authority Director Alba Bach requested to discuss the beautification program guidelines, specifically offer interior financial assistance to mobile homes and other financial assistance to previously assisted program participants. On September 26, 2017, the Hawaiian Gardens Public Housing Authority Board approved resolution number PHA 2017-013. We're adopting the beautification program guidelines. The current guidelines offers financial assistance to the exterior of the mobile homes only, and there's no financial assistance offered to previously assisted program participants. I'll turn it over to PHA Director Bach for further discussion, so this was an item that you wanted to discuss and possibly discuss revisions to the program guidelines.
Thank you. Yes, last month I had the opportunity to meet a resident of Hawaiian Gardens, an older adult, living in the Lakewood Mobile Park. She lives by herself on Social Security, and she told me that her 2 bathrooms were broken. And I just thought, what would it cost to repair a bathroom? Maybe a couple of dollars? And I would like you, if you could check on the staff report, page 165. Staff report, page 165. There's 26 mobile homes or applicants who were disqualified because they were previously assisted. And if you also look at the staff report on page 171, in that whole report, there's also 30 mobile homes disqualified because they applied previously. I am concerned because in our city, many seniors or older adults live independently. They struggle with economic insecurity. Their income is below their poverty level. And I'll give some data. According to the census, 22% of all seniors in Hawaiian Gardens live alone. 9% of our seniors in Hawaiian Gardens are veterans. 84% of seniors are not employed. And my request is more than a discussion. I would like to request an amendment to the guidelines so that we can include mobile homes. Because I said, what could it take to repair a bathroom? Couple of dollars. Most important, it can put, if we don't do some repairs, it can put their health at risk. So I would like to amend the guidelines to the beautification. That's my request, to allow applicants to receive assistance if they meet specific criteria. For example, seniors, veterans who are heroes to our country, residents with disability who are on low income. It's sad that because they applied in the past, they cannot, receive assistance for this program. This is a new program. And I also have questions. For Gloria or for Joe, how much money is left and how much time do we have? Because it will be sad if by the end of the third year that I believe it is, we still have money left. And because we disqualify residents, that money is going to have to go back to the state.
So if you look at, there were 2 staff reports that were included on the agenda. One was for the PHA low moderate income. So currently the program is functioning under 2 different funding sources. One is the general fund, which is $100,000, and the second one is for the PHA low moderate income housing fund. For that particular funding source, if you look on the staff report, the current budget for that is $300,000, and of that amount, as of August of this year, the expenditures include $122,763. So the difference between that, we are working with different projects. I can tell you that in the previous year, we did spend the full amount of the funding source for both, actually. So there was really no money that was returned anywhere. If you look at the other staff report for the funding source of the general fund, which is currently for $100,000, on the last page, out of the $100,000, currently the expenditure as of August is $58,565. Does that answer your question?
I did see that on your report for the 2017 that the $425,000 were used, and I'm glad for that. I think it's a great program. I'm just concerned that, by the time that the state gave us, we're going to be left with some money, and a lot of people were turned away. They were, not approved, denied, because of the guidelines that are in place right now.
Well, we're here for direction to either revise the guidelines, but currently we do have an extensive wait list that we're working with. And we are working with a few participants. So I can almost tell you that the funding would not be gone to waste. But again, we're here for direction.
It would be shameful if the money went to waste. But I need to clarify in terms of what you're asking. Are you stating that those that were previously assisted should be assisted further because there's further needs? Or are you just saying change the guidelines to the interior to provide additional assistance? Because I know when we brought the project forth, that was one of my concerns, that the interior to update, that would be more than the max, which is $25,000 that we currently provide any resident with. No, I believe mobile homes at $7,000. Correct. So updating the interior, I think it was just more of an emergency situation. It wasn't necessarily to provide assistance. So are those people that you're talking about, are they previously assisted? You want to continue assisting them to make sure that they have further assistance to remediate whatever needs to be done? Or are you talking about just changing the guidelines?
Well, like you said, even for the emergency assistance, they wouldn't qualify. So I'm concerned for that because, like I said, maybe...
If I may add something, there are basically two reasons why a participant or an applicant may be denied. One would be based on income, because this is an income program. And then secondly, if they were previously assisted. But it wouldn't be based on anything different.
Yes. No, I wasn't focused on disqualification because of income. Like the information that I gave, everything had to do with disqualify because they previously were assisted. Yes. And my concern is that maybe, now they just might need a couple of $100, and it's more like for emergency assistance, but they cannot even receive that because of the guidelines that we have right now.
Well, I had a question or a comment, because I know seniors that they want their house with a fireplace or something, and then the crew comes in and says, no, that's not a priority. Your windows leak, that's a priority. The bathroom's no good, that's a priority. And then if there's money left, we'll paint your house.
Correct.
But
so the purpose
yes,
of the beautification.
Now, she's saying this lady has 2 bathrooms that don't work. Now, when they did get their funding approved, those should have been priorities. Or how long has it been since their last approval? Right now, what's our standard? Every 5 years?
If she's referring to the assistance for a mobile home interior because of a toilet, unfortunately at this time, the mobile homes don't receive interior assistance. We're here if the council provides us direction to change the guidelines.
Let me recap kind of the discussion at this, because this is brought forth as an item for discussion. So at this point, it'd be appropriate for the city council to provide input on, if there is even interest in changing the guidelines. So if I could recap, when we brought this to the city council, we had quite a bit of discussion on, the purpose of that money. The purpose of that money is to beautify the neighborhood and or a specific section of the city for those folks that, financially are facing, that they qualify for the program. But essentially, the city council decided not to put resources for the interior of the property then, or now at least the current guidelines, because it didn't meet the logic or the reason behind why these monies are made available. These monies are made available to beautify the neighborhood, not to beautify individuals' homes, the interior of the home. Mm-hmm. However, you did allow it for emergency situations on non-mobile homes. But so today, really, that specific individual, we'd have to find out what they addressed last time, because even if they might have not even done the bathrooms in all likelihood, or even if they did, they could have broken between now and then. But ultimately, that wouldn't have been covered by the program then either. So the interior of a mobile home does not qualify according to the guidelines. Now, you can certainly change that, and you have limited dollars to do that. But just the concept behind beautification programs is to beautify the neighborhood, because it has a benefit not only to the individual, but to the neighborhood as a whole.
But I remember last time we discussed this, we lowered the years to reapply. So what do we stand at now? Every 3 years?
No,
every 5 years?
5 years.
Or once in your lifetime?
Well, I had a discussion today with Gloria and Joe. I don't remember when we changed the policy, but I know a few years ago, I don't know if it was 2014 or 15, we went through this whole thing again. And due to the problem of the beautification with mobile homes, not being able to reapply once they applied it, and we decided at that time they can reapply it in 5 years. Also during that time, we also had that emergency fund, which was $2,500 in case their water heater blew out, their bathroom got plugged, or the sink is this and that. That was an emergency fund that we could use for them. And I don't know how we lost that. And now with this policy that we have now, and I can't remember going through it. So I think we should go back and look at it. And I would like to go back to those years and find out what happened there, because it was a good discussion. We had it for a couple of meetings on that, and I'm positive that we had the 5-year plan where they could reapply. How we lost it, I don't know. And also why did we lose the emergency for the mobile homes, Joe?
It's still there.
It's still there. The emergency assistance, anyone can apply for it.
So the emergency is no problem.
Right.
Right. The only way the problem is the
The beautification.
The application of the beautification.
It would be if, I guess the issue would be they were previously assisted, they will not be assisted again.
Well, like I said, it used to be 5 years. We made it 5 years, and now, when we lost it, when did we decide to take that away? I don't remember.
It was discussed.
So the current guidelines were approved in October of 2017.
Yeah.
If the board wishes, we can agendize this to be discussed, and we'll provide you with some background data, and then you can look at the individual, each eligibility criteria, and then you can decide if you want to change
I think
it.
that would be,
But these guidelines were approved by the city, by the
By us.
PHA on 10/17.
So I've reviewed the language on page 5 and 6 of the plan, the beautification program plan. And if we look under number 7.2, types of assistance. So I am completely in agreement that this does need to be amended, at least the emergency assistance portion of it, because I don't think it's acceptable that we are not allowing some of our residents, some of our most vulnerable residents, to not have the ability to receive funding for emergency situations, because I think we can all agree that that's something that we prioritize in helping our residents. I mean, this is their money, this is their taxpayer money. So I would like to propose that under number 7, emergency assistance, we add maybe another clause saying that the eligibility on page 6, so Roman numeral 4, number 2, that would not, that language would not apply to emergency assistance situations. So the language where it says on page 6, previously assisted program applicants are unable to reapply and cannot receive financial assistance under the beautification program or any other city-sponsored residential rehabilitation programs. Perhaps maybe there it would be appropriate to say this would not apply to emergency assistant applicants seeking emergency assistant funding.
Thank you, Ms. Bach, for bringing this to our attention. I agree with the mayor that this needs to be agendized, so I'd like to motion that we agendize the guidelines for the next meeting.
I just have a question.
I'll second it.
But there's a motion on the table.
It is agendized right now. I'm not sure why we can't address this right now.
There is a motion on the table to agendize it for the next meeting.
So
Mayor? There's a motion and a
What is
second.
the ruling on that, Mr.
Right.
Abel?
The item is agendized for discussion, right? And I think it would be most beneficial to the city, to the council, and the staff to receive clear direction. Bring it back. We'll bring it back for council, where you could vote it up or down, whatever the.
I mean, I'm not understanding. I thought this was on the agenda so that we can
if I
find
may,
a solution.
There's a couple of options. If you have concurrence from the board that if this is the only issue we're really concerned about is the emergency assistance for folks that basically, if you were assisted in the past but it's an emergency situation, that wouldn't apply, you guys can do that tonight. If you want to change the entire spectrum of criteria and guidelines, then I would recommend re-agendizing. Now, you could do one or the other, or you can do both. You can change that component, because it is on the agenda tonight, so you can make a decision as far as providing staff direction. So you can do that. We could also bring it back as a whole, but you have a variety of options, just a matter of what the consensus of the board wants to do.
I don't want to just put a Band-Aid on it. I want to review all the guidelines, make sure we're all meeting all the needs of the project, because this is a 3-year funding source. However, we have exhausted the first year already. So we have 2-year pending. So I think that we do need to review it to have a long-term plan of what we need to do.
But I thought that the emergency is in right now, it's in effect, right?
Correct.
So the emergency has.
But not if you've been assisted in the past. So that's the point here.
Yeah.
So right now, that specific situation,
assisted in the past,
that individual would not, or that participant would not be able to qualify again because they've been assisted in the past.
Exactly.
So if you wanted to change that, you'd have to change that.
Even if it was emergency.
So we should, like I said, bring it back, work on the changes, and.
Ms. Alba-Bach, is that something that you prefer? Because it is kind of your discussion item. Did you want to bring it back, or did you just want to amend that section?
I appreciate, also joining my concern. And I would like, to also like hear more from you guys, what you guys think. So I would like to bring it, for next meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so what kind of motion do we have now?
I already have a motion on the table to agendize it for next time. There is a second.
I seconded it.
All those in
Well,
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
I did request a presentation about the beautification program, though. Is that tonight?
So we have it ready.
Awesome. Thank you. And also, in addition to your concern, I want to see what the money looks like, because I know in the beautification portion we have a waiting list, a massive waiting list. So we can go ahead and look at that too, where we're at in meeting those individuals' needs.
Are we going to switch?
Not yet.
Not yet.
No, we're still in the. Yeah.
Good evening again. Staff is here to present a end-of-the-year report for fiscal year 2017-2018 for the beautification program on the success. So my PowerPoint presentation would illustrate the properties that we have assisted under the beautification program. And again, just a little background. The program offers us a $15,000 assistance for single-family homes, duplex properties, and condos, and a $7,000 mobile assistance for mobile homes. Under the financial assistance, absentee landlords, so properties that are absentee, that are renting, basically, the property owner is responsible to pay 30% of the cost of the construction, and then the city covers the 70%. So in a moment, you will see before and after pictures of properties that have received assistance. Some have required a lot of work. I would highlight the most that was needed to beautify the property. Under the fiscal year 2017-2018, staff successfully assisted 33 applicants. The total program expenditure for the beautification program was at $425,000. And this was a combined assistance of single-family homes, duplex properties, condos, and mobile homes. And here is the first pictures of before and after of a property. And this is a single-family home. And as you can see, here they receive assistance with exterior paint, wrought iron fence, new windows, and a door. And this next property also received assistance with exterior paint, a garage door, and new concrete driveway. This property here received assistance with the garage door, exterior paint, and wrought iron fence. And as I go along, you'll see that the most common type of assistance that were offered during this fiscal year included exterior paint, fencing, and garage doors. This property here also, again, received assistance with the garage door, some new windows in the front, and a wrought iron fence. And this one again, a garage door and a fencing. This property here received assistance with a rolling driveway rolling wrought iron fence, driveway, exterior paint, and stacked stone. This one again with fencing. They also had removal of the tree, some windows. This property again, also a garage door, fencing, and assistance with the driveway. This property, again, like the most common type of assistance, a garage door and fencing. This property here, even though you really cannot see it, but they also received assistance with their roof and some landscape on the side, on the right. And this one's really pretty. This one received assistance with stack stone, fencing, wrought iron fence, and their driveway as well. This one's really pretty too. They receive assistance with a new security door, the front door, fencing again, rolling gate, and then some landscaping. And as you can see, the before and after, the Christmas lights were removed. This property here received assistance with exterior paint, stucco, stacked stone, windows, the front windows, a new front door, security door, and they didn't receive a new fence, but they received assistance repairing the fence. You can see the difference here. So this property here received assistance with the new garage door, exterior paint, garage door, and a new security door, the front security door. This property received assistance with, they had a legal structure, so that was removed. And that was the back interior structure. But they also received assistance with paint, garage door, their driveway, and assistance with their repairing the block fence. And you're really going to like this one here. This is the interior of a condo, and they receive assistance with new kitchen cabinets, a new countertop, and they remove a portion of the wall to make it more open. And they also receive assistance with the painting of the interior of the kitchen and the living room. The next one, it will be a mobile home. And they receive assistance with a window, the front window, a new patio setup, and a skirting repair. And here's another mobile home. They receive assistance with the rain gutters, the white picket fence, and the new walkway. This mobile home received assistance with a window and exterior paint. This mobile home here as well receive assistance with exterior paint and windows. This mobile home here receive assistance with their repairs on the porch steps. They also got new windows.
I had a question.
Sure.
On that last home, that blue home, is that a Dodger blue? Is there codes of paint colors in the city?
Yeah.
And that's a legal
Yes.
color?
Yes, so before the contractor discusses the paint with the property owner, the department does have to approve it before they actually paint it. And they provide an actual sample of the paint as well.
All right, thank you.
This is the one that I discussed earlier. And this is another mobile home that received assistance with windows. They patched the driveway and then they recarpeted the porch steps. This is another really nice one for a condo. And here they replaced the bathroom vanity. They replaced the exhaust fan, removed the popcorn ceiling, replaced the front entry door, and they painted the interior. And here's another nice condo. Here they painted and did molding. They included some new flooring and a new bathroom sink and flooring for the stairs as well. This is another really nice one here. You can see the difference. Here they replaced the kitchen cabinets. They replaced the recessed lighting. They included new kitchen counters and new flooring. And here's another beautification of interior of a condo. Again, they added recessed lighting, countertops, new countertops, and kitchen cabinets. This is another condo. And you're really going to see the difference on this one too. Here they added new flooring, new staircase for the stairs here, up downstairs flooring as well, interior paint, and a new bathroom vanity. And the last one. This last property received assistance with exterior paint, new windows, the front and on the side, and then a new garage door. So that concludes my presentation on the success of the beautification program for fiscal year 2017-2018. If you have any questions, I can answer them now.
I do have a problem. I want you to keep going. Everything is so nice. And these are not just changes that are just temporary, they're lasting, and they make our city way better. So thank you, and thank you, Joe. I know you're not up there, but you guys are amazing in doing your work. And I've been out there in the community more, and they really want to thank you for all that you're doing. So they really appreciate all you're doing with this program. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
We have an income requirement for this?
Yes, we do. So for the both funding sources, the general fund and the public housing funding, there is income requirements to qualify for the program, and this is based on household. I can come back with the specific income requirements for a specific number of people in the household.
Because an absentee landlord, a lot of the absentee landlords have more than one property up there, so they really don't qualify as because of their income.
Correct. So in situations like that, we actually take in consideration the tenant's income to see if they qualify for the program. And then in that case as well, the absentee landlord is responsible to pay 30% of the cost of the project, and then the city covers 70%. And then currently under the beautification guidelines, there's a stipulation that if they apply for the program and if the applicant, meaning the tenant, is approved, there's a stipulation that they are not allowed to raise the rent for the next 4 years.
Yes, I was looking at that paragraph you have here. What about eviction? I mean, all of a sudden your home is upgraded and it looks good and everything. Well, let's evict this people here, and so we can get new renters, and then we're going to raise the rent. I mean, how would you work that out as far as evictions?
Luckily, we haven't seen that yet. But if we get there, there are sources that we can refer them to. One of them would be their Housing Rights Center, where they can receive assistance for that, counseling. But like I said, luckily we haven't seen that yet.
Well, if we can stipulate on our new guidelines here, if somebody gets evicted, it had to be a real good reason why. Maybe if they didn't pay the rent, of course they get evicted, but we can put it on the guideline where those particular persons that are being evicted, they can come to the city and let us know why they're getting evicted if they think it's not justified, or something in there.
If I may, Mayor Rodriguez and board members, so that issue, actually, you guys did discuss that when we talked about these guidelines, and I'm happy to hear that that hasn't happened, because if it does happen, I would put this on the agenda for your discussion and identification of that issue, because that's just simply wrong. I mean, you're really going way above and beyond what normal other agencies do. I'm sorry, not normal. You guys are normal. To beautify the neighborhood, and if a landlord's taking advantage of that and then kicking out a tenant, you would have to seriously look at the guidelines and make some immediate changes.
Well, we can be proactive before the agenda item, and the attorney can look into language to protect these tenants.
So just on that
What are the
issue,
options?
Excuse me if I may say something. So again, currently, under the current guidelines, there is a stipulation that the owner signs that as they apply and they're approved, they're not allowed to raise the rent for the next 4 years.
Oh, yay. See, there you go.
So they do become aware of that, because there's a document that was actually drafted by the city attorney, and it goes in the file.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
All right, that was a stipulation that was presented by the city council, drafted by the city attorney. So we don't usually get involved in renter landlord disputes. There could be several reasons why a tenant could be evicted, not just because of non-payment of rent. So to make sure that they don't just evict them for purposes because they got a rehab from the city for free, the council did indicate go ahead and put a stipulation there, so that does get recorded with the property. So regardless whether they're evicted or not, that's still a requirement.
Have any more comments or questions?
I really appreciate this program, and the presentation was great. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I guess we'll receive and file this request.
I motion we receive and file.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Board action. New business. Closed session, we have none. Oral staff reports. None. Oral board reports. None. So we adjourn until the next regular Public Housing Authority meeting to be held on Tuesday, October the 23rd, 2018 at 6 p.m.
Mayor, I didn't want to step out during the beautification presentation, but before we move on to the next agenda, can we take a 5-minute break? If not, I'm going to have to excuse myself for a few minutes.
5 minutes. You get 5 minutes.
Thank you so much.
So now we're going to go to the successor agency, RDA, meeting for the City of Hawaiian Gardens. Oral communications, none. Public hearings, none. Consent calendar. Items listed on the consent calendar are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion and one vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, that item may be removed from the consent calendar and will be considered separately.
A motion to receive it.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Discussion items, new business, closed session, none. Oral staff reports, none. Oral agency reports. So we adjourn to the next regular successor agency meeting to be held on Tuesday, October the 9th, 2018 at 6 p.m. Now we'll go back to the regular council meeting. We'll go to item A, public hearings, none. Ordinance, none. Consent calendar. Items listed on the consent calendars are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion and one vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, that item may be removed from the consent calendar and will be considered separately. So does anybody wishes to pull any items from the consent calendar?
Seeing none, I'll motion that we approve.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. So we'll go to discussion items. Item D1, a request to approve locations for the fiscal year 2018-2019 annual pavement rehab projects on various residential streets and authorize the Community Development Director to solicit professional engineering services for proposal for design and construction management service. Report.
Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council, we are in our planning stages for fiscal year 18-19 when it comes to the street rehabilitation program. On the back of on page 106, you'll see the streets that have been selected as candidates for the next, for this fiscal year that we're in. So basically, we would grind the street and put in a 2-inch overlay to extend the life of the roadway. Line item 2, which is Tilbury Street from Norwalk to Horst Avenue, you've already approved that one, as well as number 3. 223rd Street, 1 Avenue to Pioneer Boulevard. I believe that was done when you approved the public hearing expenditures for CDBG. You also approved line item number 5 in its planning stages for SB1 funding. That was a requirement that we had to earmark those funds for a particular street, and you pass a resolution. So we've identified other streets. Line item 1, which is Clarkdale, in front of, from Civic Center to 221st Street, right in front of the splash pad and the skate park. That was eliminated from the prior year, and now we're introducing in this year now that the projects are done. And we're suggesting line item 6 to 11th Street from Norwalk to Claretta Avenue. Basically, we're following the pavement management plan that you had previously adopted. So what we're asking is that you concur, or if you have any changes that you want to make, and basically authorize to prepare plans and specifications for this project.
I have to say we have great streets in Hawaiian Gardens, and it's because of your continued commitment to this plan and just keeping our streets updated. So I have no changes. I think this is great. We're sticking to our plan and rotating all the streets, so I think this should work.
I'll motion then that we concur with staff's recommendation.
Well, excuse me, I have a few words to say.
Go for it.
Why are we going to go for engineering? Since we have two engineering consultant companies here in the city, which is Transtech and Infrastructure, and of course we have the third one, which is Wildan. So when you're saying you're going to go out for like a bid, I guess,
so let me
for
explain
engineering and management.
All right, so let me explain the process. Not the process that we are utilizing here is not changed at all. What's changed is what your recent direction was, which is to hire infrastructure engineers to staff the office and do design work, and then you also authorize Wildan to do construction management and inspection, and those are the same directives that we're following with this project. So on that page 106, it gives you a little budget breakdown. It's just an anticipated cost on what we anticipate is going to cost to design and construct this, and of course it can change when the bids come in. So a proposal will be asked from infrastructure to do the design work, as we've done in the past with Wildan, which has been replaced by infrastructure. And then a proposal will be asked from Wildan for construction management and inspection. So we're not going out to an RFP process or anything. We're utilizing our existing consultants that you've authorized.
What is the function of Transtech?
I'm sorry?
What is the function of Transtech?
Transtech was not part of your council directive in the engineering division. Transtech was hired to provide building and safety services. So they staff a building official, they staff a building technician, a building inspector, is what they staff. So they're not involved in the engineering division at all. The engineering division is staffed by 2 consultants. That was a directive that you provided to staff, and that's what we're following. So you have 3, but they're not all 3 working in the same division.
Before, we didn't have that, right? We had only one engineering,
Previously,
and they did everything?
Previously, you had Wildan that did the majority of it, and you had CSG, and CSG pulled out, if you remember, so you went back with Transtech.
You also didn't put the contingency on this.
We do that when we award the project. So when we open up the bids, and we'll call you, so you can be here and open them up with us.
I'll be here.
Right. And then when we come back to City Council, that's when I ask for the contingency. But
it just seems that why do we have 3 engineering firms working for the city now?
They're not. There's only 2 engineering firms.
Well, Wildan is practically doing everything now, still, as far as I'm concerned.
No, the office is actually staffed by 2 employees from infrastructure, which previously was staffed by Wildan. There's also another gentleman who comes in. His name is Doug. He's the program manager, and then there's Steve Forrester, who I believe is a senior vice president. So all staffing was replaced. All the Wildan staff was replaced by infrastructure engineers. And it'll be the same company who prepares the plans and specifications. They staff it, and then you directed staff to continue with Wildan, but to only do construction management and inspection. And they're not here at all, actually. But yes, you do see the invoices because you have projects in the pipeline that are still underway and continuing.
Well, I'm going to hate to see the invoices on the next warrants by all 3 consultant engineering firms. And I don't know, it just seems to me like taxpayers getting ripped off over here. So that's just my opinion, of course.
have audits, we have all these things to secure that our residents are not being ripped off. And then I would totally question our finance director who handles our budget as to whether that's happening. I know there's constant allegations on your behalf about this for staff. This has nothing to do in regards to this particular project. I would like to motion that we...
Excuse me, we
you're
still have...
doing it?
Yes, we're still in the process.
Oh, I thought you stopped
We
with your
have
question.
Hank.
Yeah,
Hank.
no, I had
You
a
had a
question.
question?
I had a question. When Wildan was staff,
Yes.
who seen over their management of the project and inspected their projects?
The overall management of this project is done by the community development director. After that, then you have your consultants. So previously, you had those tasks performed by Wildan. So there was a staff, 2 staff members, and they also did the construction management.
Wait. Wildan drew up the plans.
Correct.
Like infrastructure are now.
Correct.
And now you have Wildan over the management and the inspection of the project.
No. The infrastructure will design it. Infrastructure will still oversee the overall project scope of the whole entire project. There's construction management for the actual contractor to oversee their work. And then there's inspection and labor compliance and geotechnical reports and surveys and whatever, needs to be done with these projects. So Wildan is not in charge of these projects. They report to infrastructure.
If I may clarify, Councilmember Trimble, so during the construction phase of the project, you'll actually have both engineering firms in different capacities working on it. In the past, you had Wildan only working, essentially wearing 2 hats, but right now, infrastructure on a particular project will still be involved throughout the entirety of the project, and then there's construction management engineering that Wildan will be responsible for.
I just want to hold true to the contract we have with infrastructure. That's all.
It's 100% as you direct the staff, as you approve the agreements. So infrastructure is staffing that office. They are the city engineer as well, and Wildan technically reports to those staff members when it comes to the construction. They're just being their eyes and ears out in the field.
Mr. Hernandez, is that an accurate statement, what he just stated?
Correct. That is the format that the city council directed.
Wait.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
It's touchy. I'm good with it.
So this is a staff recommendation, so how do we approve this, or what do we do with it?
I have a motion on the table to concur with staff's recommendation.
And I will second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item D2, request by the Community Development Department for authorization to appropriate $85,000 of general funds and seek public bids for the Mary Rodriguez Senior Center courtyard renovation project. Report.
Bashir, can I have you turn on the projector, please? Where's the clicker at? So this is a project that's being authorized by the City Council, which is to basically reuse the fountain that hasn't been operational for quite some time. Could you also turn on the other projector, please, Bashir? So the abandoned fountain or the lack of operation is basically being repurposed. So we've been directed to convert that to a performance stage. Yeah, here. So this is the existing facilities out the Mary Rodriguez patio. This is the fountain that I've never really seen operational for many years. So this is what we've been directed to basically abandon that wading pool or fountain area and basically make a stage out of that. And I believe for another purpose also to utilize that existing pine tree there for the new Christmas tree lighting ceremony that will occur this year.
That's my pine tree.
Correct. So this is a photo showing the entire patio area. So the improvements basically include to fill in the cavity there, fill in the void there where the water ponded, and More than likely, we're being requested to add a fence as well. We will provide electrical outlets there in case there's a need to provide power to amps or microphones or whatnot. In addition, we're going to bring the this block wall, and bring it in alignment with the existing block wall. So let me go back one slide here. So this will be all one straight wall once we're done with the construction. So basically, the intent of this project is to fill in the wading pool area with cement, make that a flat platform, and perhaps even add some steps so people can climb up there, and then straighten out the wall, and then therefore creating a much larger patio or surface area for a stage. And that's the view from Pioneer Boulevard. My understanding is that part of the ceremony will occur on Pioneer as well. So.
Don't ruin a surprise, Joe.
What do you say?
So this is, just if I may add, so this is part of the ongoing discussion we've had about making use of that space. So it hasn't been used for some time, not only for city functions, but the gate Joe's referring to is on the senior center side. There's various entrances to this area, making it a little more secure. So if you wanted to rent it out as a private party, I think last year we had an event there. We put some lighting, and so it's taken it to the next step. So not only to do a variety of city projects, including this year's tree lighting, but also in the event that somebody wanted to have an event there, wedding, birthday, that kind of thing, it's a rental facility type format like we do with the other groups.
So the fence is going to be in line with the other fence for
Correct.
the garden? Oh, okay.
Other
and
fence, another
match and
same
everything.
look, and
Oh, okay.
it's
That's-
just so that if someone is having a party, people aren't jumping in and taking their elotes. You know?
It looks great.
Budget line item of $85,000, which is a placeholder, and I believe it's in your budget for tonight as well. So again, the project is in the design stage right now. We'll do an informal bid process and then award a contract. And again, if hopefully we don't need extra funds, but if we do, we'll come back and do a budget amendment.
Okay, do we have a recommendation on this, or approve the staff recommendation?
I'll make a motion to approve staff recommendation.
I second it.
What, just point of information, what is the staff recommendation?
To approve the item D2, which is a request by the Community Development Department for authorization to appropriate $85,000 of the general funds and seek public bids for the Mary Rodriguez Senior Center courtyard renovation.
And you're also basically authorizing these improvements for the preparation of plans and specs and circulating them for an informal bid process.
Thank you. I do approve of the $85,000.
Oh, do I have a second? Okay, there was a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item number 3, request for monetary donations from the Hawaiian Gardens Youth Football and Cheer and the Community Family Life Guidance Center. So there's actually 2 items here, right? Why did we have 2 items in one?
Yes, you have 2 donations that you can approve. You have a donation policy that provides for nonprofit donations, and they can apply in July and January. So for this first cycle in July, we received 2 applications from one from the Hawaiian Gardens Youth Football and Cheer, requesting $5,000 to support funding of equipment and uniforms, and from the Community Family Guidance Center, requesting $5,000 to subsidize services to the Hawaiian Gardens residents. The budget has a $25,000 line item. This would leave you with another $15,000 for applicants to apply in the January cycle. There are representatives from both of these groups here if you have questions that you'd like to ask them.
We have questions. Yes, we like football up. Thank you, sir. It's Hawaiian Gardens. Everything has hydraulics.
Hi, everybody. I'm the new president this year. Stepping in for Donald from last year.
Sir, I just had a question because last year we were at the grand opening.
Yes.
And one of the residents came up. She had 2 children, and she was short on the funds to enroll her kids. So I told her, go ask if they give you some assistance because you're a resident.
Yeah.
So I seen her about a week later, and she said they wouldn't help her. Now, we donate $5,000. Is it all for equipment, or does some of it go to people that are short?
Well, this year,
finances.
This year we have candy. We sell candy for the people that need the help with their fees, and we also they can donate their time, so we don't turn anybody away.
Oh, okay, great. That's good to hear. Yes, very important. Donate your time. I know that time is just as valuable as money. Yeah. Yes, especially in that sport. Okay, great. Good job.
And I know you're new. I work with Donald quite a bit, but I've heard amazing things about your sport from people outside of our city. We do have an amazing complex, but your team itself is known outside of our city. So thank you for representing Hawaiian Gardens well.
All right, thank you very much.
Did you play football?
Yeah, I played in college and for the 49ers.
49ers?
Yeah, right.
You're still welcome. You know, no one's perfect. You know?
Okay, and report on the Community Family Life Guidance Center. Oh, there we go.
I'm not as tall as he is, obviously. Mayor and council members, it's been an honor to partner with you and take care of the needed clients that are in your city. In fiscal year 15-16, we brought in 15 new Hawaiian Garden clients, which are children. We only see children. And at the end of 15-16, I came to the council and requested funds and made a commitment that we would increase our presence in Hawaiian Gardens. In fiscal year 16-17, that number went up to 37 new clients out of Hawaiian Gardens. And in this last year, in 17-18, we had 44 new clients out of Hawaiian Gardens. So we are definitely, this partnership that we are doing with you, you guys talking about us and us making sure that we're involved is working. And I'd like to kind of point out a little stat to that is that in last year's stats, the city of Paramount had 50 clients come to us. You had 44. Paramount's population is over 3 times bigger than Hawaiian Gardens. So by if you do the math per capita, we're seeing way more clients in Hawaiian Gardens than we are in Paramount. What we do, we mostly get funding from the Department of Mental Health for. So in those 44 clients that we saw last year, we did 748 hours of therapy with those clients, which equates to about $120,000 that it cost us to do that. Most of those funds I can get covered under the Department of Mental Health contract. So we're bringing that equity into the city. And what you're helping with is to subsidize what they don't cover, basically. Because sometimes we will have clients that don't have Medi-Cal insurance that I can't cover under that contract. And other expenses too that the contract doesn't pay for. So when you help us with that $5,000, it frees us up to do more in the city of Hawaiian Gardens. One of the things I wanted to bring up to you all, and just to keep in your mind and what you're doing in your city, we have seen a big increase in suicide cases over the last year. I think our youth are without hope. There's a lot going on in this nation, and there's a lot going on at the schools nowadays. A lot of it is related to being bullied. And back in our day when we didn't have cell phones and stuff, we would go home and be away from it. Nowadays, they're not. They're getting pounded on social media. They're getting pounded over their cell phone, and it's really having an effect on our youth. So we specialize in trauma, particularly, and so we handle a lot of what would be considered high-end cases, suicidal cases, and so on and so forth. That's our specialty, if you will. But we do it all. We treat it all. So I just want to say thank you for partnering with us the last couple of years. I think we are beginning to make a difference here in Hawaiian Gardens, and I promise you that I will continue to partner with the city and make our presence known so that service is available to your residents. And by the way, I'm a neighbor. I live right across the river bed over here. And so Hawaiian Gardens is a special place to me personally. I do a lot of shopping and eating, I should say, in Hawaiian Gardens. So, I guess I have a soft spot in my heart for what you guys are doing. And I think you guys are doing a fabulous job in Hawaiian Gardens as a council.
When you go across the river, make sure that the immigration is not around.
Yes, sir.
I had a comment. I just wanted to run this by you because here's my reasoning. When I heard about youth climbing the scales in suicide.
Right.
Yeah, and the ages tell me the ages.
It's getting lower and lower. That's
it's lower and lower. It's like
part.
from 9 to 13,
yeah,
right?
Ages 8 up.
Yes,
yeah,
and I feel this. I think, because I hear stuff in schools and stuff, and I know a preschool teacher who said that if a child is playing outside in the rain, like and he takes his coat off, they're not allowed to tell him, put your coat on, because the child has his own will. So you can if he wants to play on the swings in the rain, he can. And if you want to talk to them, you can't stand up and talk to them because now you're talking down on them. You got to kneel down and talk at his level because he's a small adult or she's a small woman.
Right.
And I think not giving them structure, respect for authority, it's too much on them. They're too little to kind of run their own world, and they grow up thinking it's all them, it's all about them, and they're not strong enough. And I feel that leads into suicide, Right. So there's some nuggets.
It leads to the being bullied as well. It leads to that as well. So,
yeah, exactly. You're doing a great job. Thank you for coming to Hawaiian Gardens, and we need a lot of help here, in that area. I know that the school recommends children to your organization.
All the time. We have MOU with ABC Unified. And,
okay, beautiful.
Very much involved with what they do.
Good job.
Well, thank you for all you're doing. I know I stopped by and said hello to you. And I am a teacher, and this was the first time in my career that I had to get suicide prevention training because the statistics are staggering. And the key, though, about suicide is that there's many attempts by the person to reach out and get support. And in retrospect, people say, okay, that was the reach out. I'm wondering if you can make a presentation to a residence. Part of the training is that when people see this, it's not going to increase it. It's not going to give people ideas. But hopefully it will inform our public as to what are some of the potentials that you can look at. Because there are key risks that the person shows clearly before the attempt is made. And that if you are trained and that if you see that, you can go ahead and hopefully prevent that from happening. Because if I'm getting trained as a teacher, if you're aware of it, Mr. Tremble, the statistics are growing up. So
it would be great to also maybe train the employees here in the chamber, maybe partner up with HR and have that be a part of our training. Because I know in Human Services Department or Parks, Recreation, and Community Services Department, we have a lot of contact with children, parents, older adults, and we want to make sure that if there are signs that we can detect those and refer them to you and have those resources.
Right. We do parenting groups and all that, so that'd be something that we could do for you, yes.
So I'll get in contact with Mr. Cinco and see if there's an opportunity to partner, given the fact that we do provide so many programs for the youth. So.
Thank you.
Are you in your new facility?
We built out our office spaces in the Helen Rosas Community Center. We're currently on hold because they're rebuilding the walkway to the office space, but I did make sure that before we got put on hold, make sure that my therapists were visiting over there and having meetings over there because I want them to know where it's at, because that way they're going to use it. So we're excited to get in there and get some work done.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
More comments? Well, thank you.
Thank you.
This is a council policy, right? So how do we approve this one?
It's a motion.
Just a motion to approve the monetary request.
Unless there's a problem, I'd like to motion both of them at the same time for approval.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion
Aye.
carries. Item number D4, amending the 2017-2019 fiscal year budget. This is a big one.
Thank you, Mayor, members of City Council. This is a follow-up to the study session we had on September 4th, 2018, to discuss the second quarter of the current adopted budget. So I'll briefly go through just a summary of what we discussed that evening. Tonight's figures include any changes made that evening that the City Council wanted to see. And so I'll begin.
Before you begin, Mr. Hernandez, I know that Mr. Bruce was there at the training, and I am highly disturbed that he's not at our meeting right now. I would like for him to take part in this particular proceeding, so I would like to table the budget except for the swim team, because I know they made an extra effort to come tonight for that. Make that a separate motion and table the rest for our next meeting.
I will second that. I think Barry Bruce, who had a big part of it, should be here to look at it.
Was there specific parts that he was looking at that we could have?
He had them. I tried contacting him today when I found out he wasn't here, but he's not answering his phone, and I don't blame him. So
it's just basic courtesy. I'm sure Ms. Maravilla would appreciate the same if she wasn't here.
I guess she's speaking for you, Mrs. Maravilla.
Yeah, usually he does. I just know that this was
Usually
agendized, and we were supposed to approve this over the summer, or at least last month, and we had a dark meeting. So I would appreciate, because I know there's a lot of people here specifically for budget items, and they waited the entire meeting. So I want to be courteous to the members of the public that are here waiting for this agenda item.
The only person I would yield to is the swim team. If we get a motion for that, I would approve it.
What happens if I agree with Councilmember Myra as far as that we have a 2-2 vote? What would happen there?
Well, there's a motion on.
I would like to proceed with this. I mean, we're just wasting too much time already.
Right. So there's a motion and a second. So in order for that motion to be successful, you would need a third vote. Otherwise, this wouldn't be continued, and you would discuss it. Or if after further discussion there was no consensus on any of the budget, then you would at some point just move forward.
So the motion is from Mrs. Rios is to okay the Shark swim team, to approve that and put the rest of it on hold until next meeting when Mr. Barry Bruce is here.
Correct.
And she motioned, I seconded it. So we can go with a roll call vote.
Let's have a roll call.
To clarify the motion, it is to continue this with take the swim team and approve that and hold the rest of it to continue it until the next meeting. Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem Rios?
Yes.
Mayor Rodriguez?
No, I think we should continue.
Councilmember Tremble?
Yes.
Councilmember Maravilla?
No.
Motion fails.
So where do we stand at now?
So now we would continue to hear the budget, and hopefully there's a motion, and if that motion doesn't get a second, then it fails. Or if the motion gets a second and we don't get 3 votes, it fails. So if we can continue the discussion and entertain some motions, then we can
So
see
the
where
only
we're
other
at.
option would be to just not approve the budget, right? Because if there's a motion to approve the budget and it's 2-2, it's going to fail? The whole budget?
Well, if we don't get 3 votes on any motion, then there will be no action
The budget will be
taken.
failing. Okay.
Right.
I think Mr. Bruce deserves the courtesy to wait for him.
I also think that the members of the public that are present deserve courtesy, but
I'm giving the courtesy to the swim team.
Well, apparently you don't care about our community, the courtesy of our community. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll just go ahead and table it until then. But so we're gonna make another motion, or what?
It would have to be your motion, Mayor.
Yeah. So because I know we're not going to get nowhere tonight. There is
it's really unfortunate that we gridlock procedures, especially when members of the public have been waiting all night for this item. I see at least 10 people in the audience that have been waiting since the beginning of the meeting for this item, and it's impossible to, consistently move things around. I mean, I think if Mr. Bruce had any specific items that he wanted pulled, he would have contacted Mr. Hernandez or Ms. Colombo. So I'm just not really understanding the special circumstances.
It's very hard for you to understand because you are just thinking of yourself, but I would like to consider his interest. Thank you.
We're not thinking of ourselves. I myself have
that's the person
postponed
running for
vacations.
re-election, guys. That's the person running for re-election.
Ms. Clerk, can she make that comment? It's political talk during a community meeting.
What do you say, Mr. Attorney?
Yeah, I would ask the council to refrain from making political comments.
Okay, and I would ask my colleagues to not call me self-centered or whatever it is that she wants to say.
It is completely my opinion that she is self-centered.
It is also my opinion that you are completely rude and out of line every single meeting, but that's just my opinion. And
of course you have an opinion and you're demonstrating it.
Thank you for being so polite.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Just as you are.
I really
All right,
appreciate it.
Let's continue on. I guess we're going to be at a deadlock anyway. So, like I said, myself, I have canceled vacations. I have done everything to be here when I'm supposed to be here. Especially when something as important as this, I would have rescheduled my vacation for something else. But apparently, some council members don't care about that, and so.
Well, from my seat, I see a parent from the Sharks team and union members, employees of City Hawaiian Gardens.
Are they not residents, though? Everyone that's sitting there, they're residents.
I know, but they understand how council runs.
Yeah, I don't know about
they're going to continue their pay and your benefits. And
they can certainly come
you're
to the
gonna
next
have
meeting.
everything still going. I just want to take care of the Sharks because they're the ones really here that came in force. We should take care of them.
Well,
And
nothing
the
is
employees know we're not going to hurt them.
Nothing
It's
is going to
continue
change.
running.
Nothing is going to change with the Sharks. Okay, they're going to get what they asking for, and which they deserve. So nothing is going to change. The only thing is going to
She's
change.
going to have good night's sleep, knowing that it's taken care of.
Well, Well, apparently you guys don't care about. If you wanted to do that, then we could continue on with the budget. But apparently, you guys is more important to postpone it until the next council meeting. But you can. The Sharks, don't worry about it. You're gonna get what you guys do.
So if I can just add some clarification. So we are moving forward. Staff is moving forward with the assumption, as this was a consensus item in our study session, which gives us our marching orders on how we proceed.
Yeah.
With particular to the Hawaiian Garden Sharks, we're working with the county to receive that additional funding to do the program year-round. So we are doing that. So
nothing is going to change with
we had a
that.
motion and a second that failed, and so now the mayor, if you want to make an alternative motion, that would be the appropriate. Otherwise.
Otherwise, no action will be taken on
No
this
action will
item.
be taken. Either way.
So either way, nothing is going to be. No action is going to be taken. Whether we.
Yes, but let me clarify something.
Yeah, I would like to make a motion in regards to the Sharks.
Let me clarify something. You see, we have this Celico web program that hires youth, and they send them out to different stores. They even work here. And I just found out the other day that they're going to move that program to recreation, who had it before and didn't run it correctly, so we never got reimbursed from the state, so the city lost money that summer. Now we have a girl up here running it, and I found out that if we approve this budget, it's moving back to recreation. And I thought, well, why hide that information from us in the numbers? So I'm just thinking, what else is in here that's going to change just by approving the budget? So I just wanted 2 weeks to see what else is in here that's going to change things in the city. And that's all I'm asking. Because that program is a beautiful program helping a lot. Matter of fact, I'm on the Selicoa board. Hawaiian Gardens thrives in this because that girl's leadership. And I just don't want it moving back to where it was before. And that's why I'm going to hold this. But the Sharks have waited a long time. I wanted to approve theirs. And then I could see what else is involved in here. And give courtesy to Mr. Barry Bruce, who did a lot of work on this.
He sure did.
So if the mayor's comfortable, we can move on to the next item.
Okay, so what is the problem right now is approving what for the Sharks? They're
Approving their schedule, their program, with Janice Hahn's financing behind
So,
them.
correct. So part of the budget amendments includes a budget amendment to recreation to fund year-round program for the Sharks. Some of that will be offset by the county, who's committed resources. So if the council wanted to approve just that tonight, they could, and the rest of the items will be considered at the next city council meeting.
I would like to motion that we approve the Sharks portion of the budget only.
I second it.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. So now, since we tabled the rest of the budget, I guess we'll just continue on, or how do we fix that?
We just don't take action tonight, and staff will bring that back at the
Right.
next council meeting.
Except for, I'll work with staff to move forward with the year-round shark program.
Okay, item number D5, consideration to approve a letter in the support of AB Assembly Bill 1168 regarding the card club moratorium. Report.
Mayor
If any.
and members of City Council, AB 1168 is currently before the governor for signature. He has till the end of the month, correct, to sign this bill. And so Hawaiian Gardens, like the other cities in the JPA authority, have been asked to, for their support, to send a letter on behalf of the city to the governor to urge him to sign that bill. The bill would provide a 3-year extension of the moratorium that expires next year. And so it's before you tonight, like we normally do, with letter of support from the City Council.
Why is it, I know I heard about this already, and I know I signed a letter already. Is this exactly the same letter that I signed?
It would be, and it's a letter on behalf of the entire City Council. That's why it's before the City Council tonight.
What is the problem? What is the holdup? I know when I signed the letter, there were 3 council members' signatures on it.
That is correct, because I didn't sign it.
Why didn't you sign it?
Oh, I'm glad you asked.
Thank you. Yeah.
I got in touch with one of the managers of our casino to ask them why did they bailed out of this JPIA program that is supposed to be has issued this letter. And the reason was, because I asked them, I said, when this started, the casinos were all in favor of it. And so they bailed out. They said, we don't want to be part of this.
When was that? That was like 3 years ago when I was here,
Exactly.
right? Yeah, Mr. Gomez and Mr. Farfan was here.
Mhm.
Yep.
And so they bailed out, and so the JPIA committee decided, well, we'll have the cities sponsor us instead, because they were getting funds from the casinos.
Mr. Mayor, that's JPA.
JPA.
JPI is a different thing.
Joint
JPA.
Powers of Authority, or whatever it is. And I said, well, why did you guys bailed out? I mean, this is an important subject, especially for the casinos. And he says, we don't need it. He says, we have lobbyists, very strong lobbyists, including our lobbyists that we hired here, who's also part of this moratorium that they want to extend to the year 2023. They said the bill has already passed. The Senate approved it. They make corrections on it, so now it's before Governor Brown. And he says, there's no problem with it. Okay, now, this letter is just to justify this individual who gets $70,000 a year to supposedly help on the moratorium. And I said, well, I mean, every 6 cities, or how many cities are you in part of it? How many cities are there?
There's seven casino cities
7 casinos
that are all in jeopardy.
And then they're not in jeopardy, according to the manager. According to the manager of the casinos, they said they're not in jeopardy. Everything's good. They have the lobbyists who have been doing this, and that's all they need. That's why. And another blow that I got out of this one is we didn't like the individual who is running this particular program, and that's why the casinos got rid of it. Okay, now it's your turn.
Okay, I'm going to pick on Joe Colombo. The casino don't like Joe Colombo either, because you know what? He used to make them keep the code.
Oh, so now you're saying...
No.
Go ahead.
Yes. JPA, they make casinos keep their end of the bargain. Now, the reason casinos, and not all casinos left, they come back when it's crunch time, and right now it's crunch time. Keith Sharp's been to our meetings a few months ago to make sure we drill this in. But when they were part of JPA, they would, because they're real strong-headed, authoritative, and that's the way it is. And they'd come at you like that, and they'd say it this way, and the JPA board would try to comment, but they'd shut you down.
I'm sorry,
right
Mr.
now.
Trimble. Looks like Ms. Maravilla's on her phone. Is she paying attention to our meeting?
Council
I'm
member.
listening to everything, and thank you for taking interest in my personal life.
You're welcome. I know that you need to be attentive as a
I'm
city
sorry.
business.
I didn't know I was your business, but thank you for reaffirming
The
that.
city is
Let
my
me
business.
go
You've
on
never
with
been my
this
business.
story.
It sounds
And
like I am.
It sounds like this story does not relate, but it does. I'm going to talk about Uber. That's the number you call a car and you say, take me Uber there. Well, their profits, because there's so many Uber drivers now that they used to make like, I think, $700 a week. Now there's so many drivers, they're around $250, maybe $300 a week because there's so many of them. Same thing with casinos. Casinos don't produce more gamblers. They just take gamblers from your casino and spread them so thin, no one profits. And that's the danger of it. I gave this man a video of a city right down the street already planning their casino. And they got Japanese that are going to pour money into that city as soon as this moratorium's over. That's how come it's so important for us to protect this casino, because that's 78% of our income. And I went to a meeting with, well, I'll get into that later. But anyway, that's how important it is to protect this moratorium. We cannot take it lightly.
Mr. Mayor.
And that's why, sir, let me just 1 second. That's why we need all council to vote on this letter to send it with authority. Because we got to not think of the casino or our friends, but what's good for this city. We got to be city-minded. And that's why it's so important to have everyone sign this moratorium that's going to protect our casino.
Mr.
Okay.
Mayor, just a point of clarification on some of the comments that Councilmember Hank Trimble made. The purpose of the JPA has nothing to do with the Community Development Department. Not one ounce at all. Okay.
Exactly.
You know we've had issues with development, EIR, and et cetera. The purpose and function of the JPA has nothing to do with the Community Development Department. Okay, the purpose of the JPA was to protect the individual casinos from other Northern California Indian gaming establishments or the issue of the poker initiatives and other things of that nature. So yes, it's important that the moratorium gets extended because it's going to expire, I believe, in 2020. So if the moratorium doesn't get extended in 2020, it'll expire, and then we open up the door to other card clubs in the surrounding areas. And as you know, Artesia, Long Beach, et cetera. Okay? So please refrain making comments about Joe Colombo and the casino, Mr. Trimble, and stick to the facts. Okay? So the issue of the card club and the JPA and the Community Development Department, they're two separate issues, okay? So yes, as the Community Development Director, I support the moratorium, that it needs to be extended, and I wish it was a much longer moratorium. But in the meantime, this is all that's been able to get negotiated was a 3-year extension that hopefully the governor will sign.
Mr. Rodriguez has a personal vendetta against some sort of a person. Mr. Hernandez, can you please read this letter that he refuses to sign? Because we've invested quite a bit of money in this JPIA.
Around $90,000 you have invested.
We know that the casino is a key instrumental part of our city. As a mayor, he represents us, not his personal views. He represents what is beneficial to the city.
So let me get back to this item. So generally, if we don't have consensus from the city council, we would not send a letter like this to the governor. So if the city council does not provide an overall consensus, then what I would recommend is just not sending a letter at all, because to send a letter with some signature, some without it before the governor, I think makes the city look like we are out of sorts as far as what our values are. So what I would recommend is you either vote not to do it or you vote to do it. Is this an important issue? It is critical to this organization as far as a moratorium. Without the casino revenues, the city is not able to function.
Yeah, and without the mayor's signature, it is quite embarrassing. Can you please read the letter so the residents know exactly what the letter says that there's such a problem with the mayor signing?
Mayor Rodriguez, is it possible for you to sign this letter regardless
of... No, I will not sign this letter because I have found out why the casinos bailed out on this. If it's so important, if the casinos were so afraid of this moratorium, they would have stayed with it. And they did say that they don't need this particular JPA.
But I believe the letter is referring specifically to Assembly Bill 11868.
Right. Well, that's what's on the governor's office right now.
Yeah, and that's to protect the moratorium. It has nothing to do with the JPA.
It only protects our casino for 3 more years.
So, if anything, I'll send my own personal letter to them, and that's what I'll do. I'll send my own personal letter because I'm not going to be part of this. So, as you know, as Ms. Mariana states, that I have a personal vendetta because she knows everything. And what's
you just
going
stated
on
you have
over
a personal, some individual
But
who's doing this letter.
This is information I got. It's not mine. It's not information. This is from manager of a casino.
If I was a resident hearing this conversation, I would want to know what this. Do you want me to read the letter, Mr. Hernandez, or can you read the letter to the audience?
No, I can read it.
Okay,
I'm
can
sorry,
you
my
please do so
apologies.
we know what
I
the
can
letter...
read it. I'm just trying to stay focused to the agenda item before us, and I want to just go back to standard operating procedures on this issue is, and this is not specific to this letter, but anytime the city council considers support or opposition to a Senate bill and Assembly bill, it's all or none. It's not one or the other, and for the reason is this goes before the governor, and there's a difference of opinion on the city council. You don't want to put it before the governor. Now to the mayor's point, there is a variety of disagreements amongst the casinos themselves of how long the moratorium should go, who gets what, and a big, large faction between Northern and Southern California casinos.
I have a comment. So I understand Ms. Mayor Rodriguez has an issue with basically the first paragraph, except for the first sentence. Is there any way we can just omit the language relating to the JPA and just continue everything else, specifying the language about the moratorium and our support for the moratorium and our support for Assembly Bill 1168, and just that way we can get
So-
all 5
Let
signatures
me read
on there?
this letter.
Can-
So,
yeah,
I'm sorry,
somebody read
Mr.
the letter.
Hernandez. I don't have the patience that you're having to discuss this item as to what the city represents. September 25th, 2018, the Honorable Governor Jerry Brown, State Capitol, Sacramento, California, 95814, regarding AB 1168 Gibson Card Club Moratorium. Dear Governor Brown, on behalf of the City of Hawaiian Gardens, we ask you to sign into law Assembly Bill 1168 Gibson. We are part of the California Cities for Reliance Joint Powers Authority, JPA. It is a coalition of local cities located in the Los Angeles County. The JPA is chartered under the California state law under the authorization granted in Section 6500. The JPA was formed in July 2001 to promote and protect the common economic concerns of its member cities and engage on public policy issues which affect these concerns. The JPA represents the interest of over 4,000 residents, local businesses, and their employees in our 6-member county. The JPA is comprised of the cities of Bell Gardens, Commerce, Compton, Cudahy, Hawaiian Gardens, and Inglewood. Second paragraph. AB 1168 Gibson continues the existing moratorium on card club expansion to the year 2023, keeping in line with the long-standing state policy of continually re-examining the number of card clubs and tables in the state. California has historically resisted increasing the number of gambling establishments and the number of tables in the state. Since 1995, state law has discouraged cities and counties from expanding gambling, particularly in urban and suburban communities. Extending the current prohibition will not impact existing gambling facilities in California. Rather, this measure will provide needed financial stability to local governments that rely upon revenue from licensed gambling, and it will continue the state's commitment to limit the number of gambling facilities operated in the state. Third paragraph. The moratorium restricting the expansion of the existing card clubs and licensing of new ones began in 1995. A 5-year moratorium was put in place by the enactment of SB 100, MADI, Chapter 387, Statutes of 1995. SB 8, Lockyer, 1997, enacted the Gambling Control Act and continued the moratorium on the authorization of the new or expansion of gambling establishments by 2 years, from January 1st, 1999 until January 1st, 2001. Legislation continuing the moratorium has been continually enacted, and most recently, AB 241 Hall, Chapter 316, Statutes of 2011 extended the card club gambling moratorium from January 1st, 2015 to January 1st, 2020. AB 241 passed the Assembly and the Senate with near unanimous support. California card clubs are fundamental assets in many local economies, serving as the largest single source of total tax revenue for several city general funds. For the City of Hawaiian Gardens, casino-related revenues exceed over 70% of the general fund. As you are well aware, general fund expenditures pay for essential programs and services such as public safety, parks, transportation, and many quality of life programs the city offers. The city's operation is simply not solvent without this critical revenue source. For these reasons, we strongly support AB 1168 and ask you to sign the bill. Thank you for your consideration. I don't see any contrary language. I don't see anyone being highlighted in this particular letter, other than our need for this moratorium to continue.
My suggestion would be to move the very last paragraph under the first sentence of the first paragraph and omitting the remainder of the first paragraph. So it'll just read, on behalf of the City of Hawaiian Gardens, we ask you to sign into law Assembly Bill 1168 Gibson, followed by the last paragraph. And just striking out the rest of that. It looks like Mayor Rodriguez is not going to change his mind. I think this is an important letter, and all of us need to do what it takes to get it signed by all of us. And so I think that this is what we need to do.
If we go back to the minutes, I have been here with Mr. Rodriguez, and he has supported the JPA. He has voted to give them money. I am not sure what his problem is at the moment. Excuse me, Mr. Rodriguez. As mayor, you are a representative for our city, and it's not about your personality, and it's not about your hate or dislike for a particular person from an organization. You are representing the needs of our residents in Hawaiian Gardens. Last time, we had a huge discussion about how much we need the casino. This protects our casino. I am not sure what the problem is with this letter. We are part of the JPA. You just said, how much did we contribute? 90,000 to it?
So
You
far-
were part of the vote. You voted for it.
No, I haven't.
I will request the votes, and I will check every single vote on the JPA.
I don't care what
and-
you're going to do.
Yes.
This is, okay, now listen, all of you, I'm going to say one more thing and that's it. I am not going to sign this letter. I'm going to send my own letter under the City of Hawaiian Gardens as the representative. I'm not going to sign anything that's got JPA because that is to me, it's ridiculous. The way we're spending money with them, not only do we give them $30,000 a year, they have their meetings each month. One city does their meeting, and we have to pay another $1,000 to feed them, and so to me, this is a waste of money, and like I said, I asked the casino. The casino said the same thing. It says the reason we got out of there because they really didn't give us any benefits. We have our own lobbyists. The bill is going to go through. He's very confident. He says the bill's going to go through, so this is not going to even affect any at all. But I will send a letter to Governor Brown with Hawaiian Garden City address, stating as the mayor, I wish to have him sign the bill, and that's it. I'm not going to do
Mayor
no more.
Rodriguez.
And so you guys sign it and send it.
Mayor-
That's all. Take my name off this letter. That's all you have to do is take my name off of it, and you guys sign the rest of it and send it out.
Mayor Rodriguez, if you look at the very first paragraph, that's the only section that it talks about the JPA. If we strike out the entire language relating to the JPA and just leave the very first sentence,
The JPA is all over this.
no, it's just the very first paragraph.
If
If we remove that, would you sign the letter? If we remove the entire first paragraph minus the first sentence?
They don't want to sign it. I
No,
mean, they will
let me-
want to remove it. So
let me
they
try
just-
to-
I can motion that, and then we can discuss.
We're not going to get nowhere. They already made up their minds, and I can see they're in favor of it. And the reason for is because this particular person that's in charge of this also did a lot of things for the city.
I think
which
it's.
I'm not going to go into
Right.
because
And I don't want to go into the discussion about the
Yeah.
JPA at all, because that's your personal opinion. But what I'm going to say is, I
No.
would like all of us to sign this letter, and if removing the entire first paragraph minus the first sentence is amenable to you, I would like to motion to omit everything on the first paragraph minus the first sentence, move the last paragraph under the first sentence of the first paragraph, and then print it out and get all of us to sign it. Would that be something that my colleagues could support to get everyone's signature on it?
I would not, because we have invested in this JPIA. There is no problem with saying that we are in support of what the JPA is doing. Mr. Trimble, you
Yes,
are
I'd
part
love
of it.
to speak.
Yeah.
I'd love to
Please.
speak because this is not our first time sending a letter to Governor Brown and him rejecting it. So we have to rewrite the language. And this time around, the language is acceptable. Now, if he would get a letter from us with rearranging it, then we're not all in unity. We're not all together. And the reason this took so long is the casinos themselves, the owners, they don't trust each other at all. We're their buffer.
Wait, what do you mean the letter
The
had
letter is, Ernie didn't write that.
Right.
That is, the language has to be acceptable to
Who wrote this
Sacramento.
letter?
What do you mean? Any
the
letter that we
JPA
write is acceptable
no.
to Sacramento?
Not when it comes to casino cities. They have to be in unity, and the language has to be acceptable, and that language right there is acceptable and made it to his desk. Now,
Yeah, Ms.
now,
Maravilla's
if he got
naivete
a
is
separate
concerning
letter
because
with
it's a
saying
city
something
clerk for
totally
Long Beach.
different,
You
so
know
let
how
me-
politics
not gonna
works.
work.
Let me just clarify
No,
that
I'm
wrote.
just not understanding how this is acceptable versus not acceptable. And now you're saying this letter's on their desk, even though Ernie's asking for our signature to send it to his desk. Look,
in support.
the letter,
We
right.
got a supportive letter.
I'm not asking to rewrite the whole letter. I don't know if it got lost in translation at all. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody who wrote this letter. I don't care who wrote it. All I'm saying is I'm trying to get our signatures, all of our signatures on there. And if removing the JPA language will make that happen, then that's what we need to do. And I don't understand why, if everyone's letters look exactly the same, why does it matter if ours is slightly different? As long as all of our 5 signatures are on
Just
there.
let me clarify. That letter is different already. I rewrote portions of it, including the back end.
Exactly.
The JPA was provided with a template, provided staff with different cities, and then said make it tailored because, like, for example, if you
Right.
look at the last page,
Yeah.
70% of our general fund is represented by these revenues. That's not the case for commerce, and so we had to change it a little bit. But they provided all the essential detailed information that's in here about the previous law changes and in the very first portion. And so the only thing I will say, because this is complete council discretion, the only thing I will say is that you either send a letter on behalf of the city, or you don't send a letter at all.
I don't see your rationale in regards to that, because I know Governor Brown was here in our city, in our casino, so he has come to our city and knows Hawaiian Gardens. And as a council member, I am in complete support of this moratorium. I have no problem sending him a letter and indicating that Hawaiian Gardens is in support of this moratorium. It is embarrassing that our mayor can't go beyond his personal problem with
stay
his
away from
organization.
personal insults.
Excuse me, can you please let me speak? I have not interrupted you.
You just need to be respectful of everyone whose opinions.
You don't understand even what I'm saying. Can you please stop and step out of my conversation? When it's your turn, you can well ahead and comment. It's not your turn right now. Thank you. Talk about being respectful. Respect the time that each council member has. I'm just urging the mayor, because the mayor does represent all of our communities. I know that you do have a problem. It's very clear every time that we discuss it. But it is important that we are unified. But if you are not, I would still want to send this letter on behalf of our city.
I would like to send the letter with the quorum. If it only is going to have 3 votes, let 3 votes decide for the city to protect that casino. Send it.
It's just, you guys, the point of the letter is not whose ego is bigger. The point of the letter is to have everyone's signature on it. If all it's going to take is the removal of the language of the JPA, why can't we be amenable to that? That's what I'm not understanding. You guys, you want the letter a certain way. Mariana's forcing by being mean to Mr. Rodriguez right now and calling him all kinds of things and calling me selfish and this. It's like, it's not about us. You're right, Mariana. It is about the city, and we need to be city-minded. And if all it's going to take is removing the JPA language and moving the last paragraph to the first paragraph, why does it matter? As long as all of our signatures are there and it clearly states that we're in support of Assembly Bill 1168. Like, we just really need to put aside our differences and just make those changes so that Mayor Rodriguez can sign it. Right now, Mayor Rodriguez is the mayor of our city, and it's not going to look good, Hank, for us to send a letter with just 3 or 4 signatures. I mean, I'm going to sign it regardless, but that's not the point of the letter. The point of the letter is to show unity, that the entire city council is behind Assembly Bill 1168. It's not to say, oh, because he's against the JPA and I'm for the JPA, and it has nothing to do with that. If Mayor Rodriguez is not going to change his mind, what is my end goal? My end goal is to get all of us to sign the letter. And it's really unfortunate that all of us are just not being flexible.
It really is unfortunate that you're signing
flexible.
something on November 6th and now you're saying partnership and working together. Please get yourself together
Okay,
and make a decision that's what's important as a
because we're
council
not getting
member.
nowhere. Now, I have one
So let
more.
me just say this. The
You already
mayor
said-
is not a battleship. I was the mayor, and 3 outruled me, and whatever the 3 outruled, that I went with it.
I'm not asking anybody to
run
outrule
the
me.
city because you're mayor. You run it on 3 votes.
You guys can do whatever you want to do, but I'm going to do whatever I feel that the community is entitled to. And it's not about the letter itself. It's who is sending the letter. Now, you get a letter from the city of Hawaiian Gardens that says, we, the city of Hawaiian Gardens, would, wish to have you sign our bill, the Senate Bill 1168.
Please.
I say, if the city of Hawaiian Gardens themselves, nobody else is involved, which is the JPA or nobody else, or any of the casinos. The city of Hawaiian Gardens is asking the governor to sign this bill. What is the problem with that?
Strength is in the numbers. We show unity with all these other cities.
Well, they're
We-
going to
we're
send
part
their
of it.
own. Okay, so
Have the other cities had any problems with their mayor signing this letter?
Not at all.
All their mayors and the other council
well,
members signed
listen
it?
to me. You're going to have a problem with this mayor here. Okay, so that's all there is
Obviously,
to
that's
it.
why we're trying to encourage you not to, because you're representing
Well,
the city, and this
I
is supporting our
represent-
casino.
I represent the community.
The community is
I
our city.
represent you guys wasting $30,000 a year on this JPA, which could be used on sports. It could be used on other items in here. Which this is useless. The casinos themselves says it's useless. That's why they don't even approve none of this. They don't even care about it. It's just somebody that's making money on cities. And it's taxpayers' money.
Listen,
So
I was in the meeting when Keith Sharp came and helped us with our language, what would be acceptable to the governor.
And
Now,
who is he?
he might have the food bank confused with the casino.
I don't have that food bank confused with the casino. I talk directly with the managers of the casino, okay? I'm talking directly, person to person. I'm not going by anything else. So let's get this over with. I'm not going to sign it, so you guys sign it and send it in. Okay, we'll send a letter.
We can't send a letter. We cannot send a letter with just
Well,
some signatures.
all you gotta do
Either
is-
we're gonna
Well,
omit the JPA
no,
language, or we
just
don't send
Send
anything.
the letter
Just-
with the quorum.
Just
Yes.
take my
3
name off
votes
of it.
run the
Oh,
city.
my God.
3 votes will send that letter out.
Do you guys
Then
know
it-
how
then it'd
awful
be
that's gonna make
appropriate-
us look at Governor Brown?
You have to make a motion and vote on it to decide if that's how you
So
want to do it.
you guys make a
We're-
motion.
We're being inflexible. We're not looking at the end goal. The end goal is get the 5 signatures, send a letter in support of the Gibson bill. That's it. The JPA language doesn't have to be in there. Why can't we
Like
just
the
send
city,
it?
why
Why
don't they
can't we
send the
send
city
it
of
without the
Hawaii?
JPA language?
If you had the city of Hawaiian Gardens instead of the JPA, there wouldn't
Exactly.
be no problem because that would be ours. But
I
this
don't
is
care
not-
either
it's
way.
not
I
what
don't
they
care if it
want,
says
so-
JPA. I don't care as long as it gets
Can
sent.
we have a special meeting like next week and
No,
have
we-
JPA present
Oh.
of what's at
No,
stake?
we don't want no. We don't want no more.
So that the
special
city
meeting.
could hear from the horse's mouth how important this letter is?
I'll make a motion to send the letter with the amendment to remove the JPA language, and that will make sure that
And
all
install
of us
city.
can sign it. Exactly.
And
That'll
install
make.
the city of Hawaiian Gardens, not the
Right.
JPA.
And it'll
because
make-
we want.
Well, that
be our
has
city.
nothing to do with this, though. This is specifically about the moratorium bill. This has nothing to do with the JPA. So I just suggest let's remove the language of the JPA and get all 5 signatures.
So let's
Because-
continue on and.
Wait, hold on.
I make a motion to. What was the motion?
So we're
Well,
now,
can we table this? Because Ernie's going to make a phone call.
So
to
if
the
we can-
JPA to
Let me-
I don't want to hear anything by the JPA. I don't want to hear nothing out there that you guys, like I said.
It's nothing about anything that they will do. They could
So
do
let's-
great
let's-
things, and you're still going to be against
You
it.
guys do what you want to do, and I'm going to do what I want to do.
you have a motion.
So what was the motion?
Can you clarify the motion, Ms. City Clerk?
That's okay, Ernie.
The motion from Councilmember Maravilla
I can table my motion until Ernie makes that call.
We can discuss it after closed session.
Yeah, we'll bring this back after closed session, after we speak to someone who shall not be named.
I agree with that.
There's no reason to postpone anything.
So
You guys
that'll be
make a
my
decision.
motion
Let's
is
do
to
that.
table it until after the closed
I
session.
second that.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Vote roll call on that, please.
There is no roll call required.
We have a
It's
motion
been
and a
tabled.
second.
There's a motion is.
And bring it back after
until
closed
after
session.
closed session. Mayor Pro Tem Rios,
Yes.
Mayor Rodriguez,
No.
Councilmember Trumbull,
Yes.
Councilmember Maravilla.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, let's see, we're, that's a resolution, moratorium. So, we have, item number D6, step four, grievances and arbitration procedures per the memorandum of understanding between AFSCME, rank and file unit, and the city of Hawaiian Gardens. Report?
So at this time, Mayor, it'd be appropriate to go into closed session to discuss this item.
Okay, so that would be, so do we continue on with the committee reports and businesses and get that over with, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we go to council actions, committee reports. New business?
Yes, I have a new business item. I've requested a letter to go out to the businesses regarding the homeless issue a while back. I know we had a presentation from the sheriffs that indicated to the businesses that they can go ahead and write a letter indicating that there were certain restrictions for the homeless if they walked in, and the concern is that some homeless are going into our businesses and causing disturbances. I want to know if that letter went out. Where is our city manager?
He ran.
Does anybody else know anything about this? So anyways, I would just like to add that to the new business to make sure if that letter was
So
done.
I can clarify that issue right now. So what specifically you were talking about letters of agency so we could address homelessness at the individual businesses. And so
Yes.
staff has gone out to the businesses and offered that along with the sheriff deputies. Sergeant Macy's not here tonight, but Sergeant Macy joined staff to meet with the residents to let them know that if they sign a letter of agency, we can assist them with that issue.
I appreciate that, but there was going to be a blank mailing to all the businesses, so every single little business knows what the concern is, or their options as businesses. Has that been done?
No.
Because
To
I
every
believe that
single
was my
business?
request, yes.
Okay.
Because, I mean, I love our staff that they're going out and they're doing amazing things with their business sign program and their touch base with that. We had these people earlier present about business, but I'm not sure if they're touching base with every single one, and I want them to know that this is their options with the homeless, because it is an issue. So is that going to be done? Or do
Correct.
we need to agendize it?
No, that's correct. We'll take care of it.
Okay, thank you so much.
Oral staff reports? Don't we have an event this weekend, or when is the...
Oh my goodness, please do. It's one of my favorite events of the year.
Yes, we do. Sorry. This Saturday, the 29th of September, is our annual 3K Fun Run Walk and Health Fair. It'll take place at Fetty Middle School. Registration begins at 9 a.m. and the race begins at 10 a.m. So we're hoping to see everybody there.
Thank you.
Well, I'm sorry. Will we have another meeting before the grand opening? Probably should advertise that.
Yes, the next meeting is on October 9th, but I can announce this tonight and again that evening. The grand reopening of the skate park and splash pad at Clarkdale Park will be held on Saturday, October 13th at 11 a.m. We're going to have a grand opening ceremony, a skating exhibition and skating contests, food and refreshments, along with some raffles and a lot of fun. So we'll remind everybody at the next meeting as well. The information will be going up on all of our media outlets, and we have the flyers up at the schools ready to be distributed, and we have a banner at the park promoting the event. So it should be a great day.
Thank you. Oral council reports.
I have a couple. I went to the League of California Cities convention in Long Beach, and they try to teach you how to be council members and council women, and they have a lot of different classes. And during the break, I seen a couple mayors from different cities, and they told me, hey, we seen your council meeting on the 8th. And they said, they're getting good again. And I said, yeah? They said, yeah. He says, you know, that guy that was sitting next to Myra, he was giving her information, and she was like firing at you with the information. They said, that's a violation. And I said, well, I wonder why our attorney didn't catch that.
What?
And,
Well, I do notice that she does talk. Are they
yeah,
talking
well,
about her?
But I'm just saying
What?
that next time that you
She does use
are
her phone
not
and
present,
just-
we don't need Joe up here because he's not running by the rules.
What?
Okay?
Talking about Joe who?
Who was up here?
Joe Colombo was ran the meeting in my absence.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm just saying that, you know, we got to keep it fair here, keep it safe here without violations. Now, then I went to the JPIA, which is an insurance company. And there's about 126 cities that go to this.
I'm telling you.
And they have speakers, dynamic speakers, that that teach you as an elected official how to take care of the city from getting lawsuits. And Fred Lacon was here earlier. He left. I wanted him to stick around so he can confirm this because we sat at the same table. And the speaker got up and said, listen, if you have an employee that's a liability to your city, and you're a supervisor, and you're protecting that employee that can cause a lawsuit to this city, to your city, that's a bad supervisor. He says, if you're an elected official and you're protecting someone that's a liability to your city, you're a bad elected official. He says, and if you're a city manager and you're protecting a bad employee, you're a bad city manager. He says, it all starts from the top, and then it filters all down. So he was saying, there's a lot of liability going out in the city that you guys are responsible for, and I just loved that because it was straight talk. The whole conference was talk like that to protect the city. And I feel our obligation as elected officials is to honestly have this city at heart and not friendships and emotions, but this city, make decisions for the city. That was what the conference was all about. That's my report.
Well, I'm glad you learned all kinds of goodies.
I know a lot of stuff. I go to a lot of things. I think that the greatest things you could do is go learn how to be a council member and learn the laws. That's the greatest thing that can happen.
Like being rude and all this good stuff, all this name calling and well, that's why I'm here. I'm here to protect you guys. So now let's go into the closed session.
Wait, I had a quick oral council report. I just wanted to give a shout out to Public Works. A couple of days ago, or I think it was yesterday, I contacted Ernie. I know that Food for Less off of Carson Street. Every day that I was passing by, I just noticed like a growing trash, and it was just getting really messy. I don't know what's going on with Food for Less, but Public Works went out there first thing this morning. On my way to work, I saw them, and they were picking up all the trash. So I just really appreciate that. I'm not sure if that's like a code enforcement issue or what it is, but I really appreciate Public Works. So I want to give a shout out to Santos and you for relaying the message. But it was an eyesore. It was like the trash was traveling to the median. It was getting more and more every day, so it looks a lot better today, and hopefully that won't be an issue in the future. But I think we will have to address this with Food for Less. Just I want to make sure that whole parking lot area stays clean. So anyway, I just wanted to thank Public Works.
My report, I'm just looking ahead, and that is that the 3K run is one of my most favorite events. I know it's been coordinated this year by the events committee, but that is our elementary school kids. So I'm looking forward to seeing Melbourne, Hawaiian, Ferry, Ferguson, Aloha, all kids out there. And this is an opportunity for parents and kids to run and acknowledge how healthy we are as a city. It's an amazing opportunity, so please come out. Like Mr. Gomez said, Saturday at Ferry. At what time, Mr. Gomez? What time? 10 in the morning. So I look forward to seeing everybody there.
Sign-ups at 9?
Are we still going to have the yoga person or to warm us up?
Yes, we'll have a Zumba instructor there to warm up the participants.
Thank you so much. It's an amazing event.
With that, we'll go into closed session.
One second. Let me read the closed session agenda.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On tonight's City Council closed session agenda, we have the following. Conference with real property negotiations. This is authorized under Government Code 54956.8. The property is located at 22434 Norwalk Boulevard. City negotiators, Mr. Ernie Hernandez, City Manager, negotiating various parties. Under negotiation, price and terms. Item number 2 is public employee discipline, dismissal, release. This is authorized under Government Code Section 54957. Item number 3 on tonight's closed session agenda is public employee discipline, dismissal, release. This is authorized under Government Code Section 54956. And that is all.
All right. Okay, we're back from the closed session. Report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. With Council Members Maravilla, Council Member Trimble, Mayor Pro Tem Rios, and Mayor Rodriguez, the City Council met in closed session and discussed the following items. With respect to item number 1, conference with real property negotiations, City staff made a presentation. Council gave direction. There was no final action, no reportable action taken, nothing further to report. With respect to item number 2, city staff made a presentation. Direction was given, no final action was taken. And with respect to item number 3, city staff made a presentation, no final action was taken, nothing to report.
Thank you. Now we're going to go back to item D5. Consideration to approve the letter in support of Assembly Bill 1168 regarding the car club moratorium.
Honorable Mayor, members of City Council, per your direction, I contacted the representative from the Joint Powers Authority who clarified that so long as it's a letter exclusively from the City of Hawaiian Gardens in support of AB 1168, that would suffice as to the goals of the JPIA and what they're trying to do to extend the moratorium.
With that, I guess we'll take another vote on it. So,
I'll make the motion to approve.
As amended?
Can we clarify the motion?
Do you want me to do the motion?
So the motion would be to approve a revised letter exclusively from the city with either the mayor's signature on behalf of the city council or with all city council members' signature.
All.
I approve the revised letter and,
Yeah.
Yes.
you second, I'll second it. Okay. So, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. With that, meeting adjourned.